and good morning. My name is Conrad Gorlinski, and you're watching Morning World Today. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning. I hope you've got your coffee ready. Let's get this day started with all you need to know. In a moment, we'll be joined by my colleague, the one and only Sally Jaschemska, for our press review. But first, let's catch up on the headlines from the past 24 hours.
Residents of Moscow awoke to another drone attack on the Russian capital. Kyiv claimed responsibility for the strike, which damaged a non-residential downtown building. Moscow called the strike a terrorist attack. These accusations come right after Russian troops demolished Ukraine's historic UNESCO-protected cathedral in Odessa. The Israeli Knesset has ratified a judicial bill limiting the power of the Supreme Court to overturn some government decisions. The vote sparked mass protests in Jerusalem and other cities across the country. The entire opposition boycotted the vote, saying it undermined democracy. Recent elections in Spain have failed to determine a clear winner. The Conservative People's Party received the largest share of the votes, but not enough to form a government. This still gives the ruling socialist a chance to cling on to power. The conflict in Sudan has passed its 100th day. There are currently no signs of peace being achievable. There have been attempts to reach a truce, but so far, most of the ceasefires have been violated. Police from 5 countries have arrested 65 members of a gang involved in people smuggling. According to reports, the suspects were attempting to traffic migrants from Cuba to the European Union through an unusually long and expensive route. 5,000 asylum seekers made their way to Spain from Cuba, traveling through Serbia and Greece.
All right, well, it's time for our press review. Sally, pleasure to see you, as always.
Good morning, happy to be here. All right, so we're going to start with The Guardian, which is talking about fires in Europe, which is quite a big problem, right?
It is, and especially in Greece right now, yeah?
Right, 45 degrees Celsius in some places, of course, the highest temperatures in 50 years. Lots of people evacuated, lots of tourists evacuated, and what is quite upsetting and what the article is talking about is that some of them just arrived in Greece.
That's right. Tour operators still wanting to cash in.
Absolutely.
And so they're still flying them in, I think as late as Saturday, wasn't it?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I mean, this is a big problem, right? I mean, sort of in addition to this, humanitarian and ecological crisis, we still have the greed of some people, right, adding up to the crisis. So, in any case, Poland has deployed some firefighters to Greece. So hopefully, with this concentrated effort, they'll be able to contain it. I think Poland, Romania, and some other countries
Slovakia,
are
I believe, and a lot of countries are trying to help
Greece
cope with all of this. And apparently, also the winds, the really dry winds are just stoking the fires even more.
Right,
so
and also the reports of similar things happening in North Africa as of recently. So, I mean, this is going to be a difficult summer for some, unfortunately.
Unfortunately so.
Another article that talks about something completely different is the one from Politico. And here we have a problem with China. You can see a person in this photo that is a Caucasian male, apparently trying to purchase some military equipment from a Chinese company. Now, Politico did a little bit of digging up, and they have found out that Russia maybe, or in fact is, or companies located in Russia, are importing huge quantities of such equipment from China. We're talking about bulletproof vests and helmets and non-lethal weapons. So
that's right, because there are sanctions, right? But China's still trying to sell as much as it can. It's still for use for the military, but it's skirting the sanctions because these aren't weapons in the official sense, right?
Right. So we have these and also drones, which
And
can
drones.
be used, right? I mean, in various ways, including sort of attacking, right? But foreign territory or whatnot. But they're not. I believe they're not on the list. In any case, the article is talking about all these shell companies that were created in order to import these things. And Politico reached out to the owner of this Chinese company because this photo was put on a website of one of the Chinese companies, right? So they're
That's right.
bragging about having clients.
Having these
Yes.
clients, yeah.
And apparently, following the inquiry, the photo was removed, and the owner of the company was saying that he doesn't know who that person is. Where is he from? He could be from Poland, Ukraine, or even Russia. That's the quote from the company owner. In any case, a very interesting article, essentially trying to highlight the fact that although China is saying that it's neutral, it's somewhat supporting Russia, right? It's somewhat enabling
Well,
Russia.
it's finding little loopholes in a lot of ways to help Russia in its battle. Well, at least to profit.
That's what I was
from it. I
thinking,
think
right?
the Chinese are more into. We're thinking more along those lines.
Right.
Yeah.
Profit is very important. Well, in any case, let's now move to the Middle East. Iran apparently has, if we could take a look at the next one, Iran has apparently,
Oh, there we go.
right,
Okay.
succeeded in actually dismantling a unit associated with the Israeli Mossad. I mean, this is what they claim.
Yeah.
They're saying that this unit, these various individuals were preparing some 43 bombs and sort of.
That's right. Yeah, they're saying that they found 43 bombs and that it was meant for civilian targets. Is that right?
Right, and so the intelligence ministry also threatened consequences for spy networks. Of course, it is no surprise that Iran would have something, negative to say about that. But
That's
we don't
right.
really
The
have
Zionist regime, they call, yeah.
Right, but we don't really know much more than what has been, sort of said by the Iranian side. So I guess we'll have to wait and see how the issue develops.
Yeah. Okay.
And now, entrepreneurial news.
Yes. This is the big news everywhere, all over Twitter,
Right.
at least,
Or X, shall we say.
or X. That's right.
Well, soon it will be called X, apparently, as Elon Musk is preparing a rebranding of the whole platform. And actually, he's going to sort of model it after a platform that exists in China, which is called WeChat, and provides all sorts of services, right? So you can order, a food or a cab on that platform. You can pay, you can make a payment, right? So I guess Elon
And
Musk...
people's entire lives are on there, and so he's
Supposedly.
calling this the everything app.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's going back to, I guess, to his roots with, sort of this payment app, right? Because he started with
there you go.
PayPal, right? In any case, there are various voices also criticizing what Mr. Musk is doing, saying that, Twitter may not survive it, right? And that there are other companies emerging, such as Fred from Meta,
That's right.
which could replace Twitter. If he continues.
I know, and just the idea. Just the brand of Twitter. Probably more than half of the purchase price for Twitter was just that brand, and just throwing it out. I mean, that's like throwing out billions of dollars, isn't it?
Right. Also, sort of advertising has decreased on the platform by 50% following what Mr. Musk has been doing. So, Twitter is not faring well, and.
It's interesting.
I'm not an expert, but
Yeah,
definitely
it'll be interesting
worth
to see if
keeping an eye on.
he succeeds. I mean, he tends to be successful, although most of his businesses have been bumpy. So we'll see how he manages this one.
We have to wait and see. And regarding another political story, Emmanuel Macron, who is on a visit to New Caledonia, if we can take a look at the, is calling for order in the country, right? So because these riots following the killing of the teenager, right, Nahel, who was stopped by the police officer, right? We all remember the story, and he was shot. Riots broke out, and they were the biggest since 2005. As a result, Emmanuel Macron, who he didn't say much earlier about this, so he's making this appeal now. Also, we have to remember that these riots, and also the fact that some sort of factions within French politics, right? They sort of try to benefit from the fact that the victim was from North Africa, and hence some demonstrators were from North Africa, and they're trying to sort of put forth this rhetoric that it is the immigrants who are causing unrest, and perhaps...
That's right. No, they're very cynical. There are a lot of... Well, obviously, politics is a very cynical game. And anytime something like this happens, people will use it for their own...
Right.
Yeah. And,
absolutely.
It gets very messy after a while.
Right. And also, because we have to, of course, mention that Macron is on a trip to New Caledonia, and is also going to make a stop at Papua New Guinea, and as the article says, lay out a French alternative for a region marked by China-U.S. tensions. It's quite interesting what he'll say.
That's right, and actually we'll be talking about that a little bit later on during the day with a special guest of ours.
And we conclude with Israel, and of course the much contested and judicial overhaul, right? Which one of the laws was passed yesterday, and of course has caused even further unrest. So
the law was passed.
Right.
It was. This judicial reform went through the Knesset.
Right.
It's official.
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Wow. Passed by 64-0 vote after opposition Knesset members abandoned the session in protest, some shouting for shame. So that's how it happened yesterday. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see how the situation in Israel develops.
So it certainly doesn't look like it's over. If half of the Knesset walked out, there are probably demonstrations going to continue throughout the week.
People going on strike,
healthcare workers
yes.
also going on strike.
So
incredible.
Yeah, well, difficult times, but
difficult time for the democracy in Israel, but obviously it's functioning.
Right.
So let's end on that positive note. Yeah. Sally, thanks very much.
Thank you.
All right. And now, before we join our guests, Michał Kusz, expert on international relations from the Jagiellonian Club, and Sergei Sumlenne, a director at the European Resilience Initiative Center, let's take a look at the major stories from the last 24 hours.
The foreign ministers of Armenia, Russia, and Azerbaijan will hold a trilateral meeting today in Moscow. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov will also hold separate bilateral talks with the Armenian and Azerbaijani foreign ministers. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas is expected to visit Turkey and hold talks with President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Philippines President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. will be in Malaysia from July 25th on a 3-day state visit, where he will meet with Malaysian King Al-Sultan Abdullah Sultan Ahmad Shah and Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim to discuss bilateral investment and economic cooperation.
Well, joining us now to discuss these subjects and more are Michał Kusz and Sergei Sumlenne. Gentlemen, pleasure to see you this morning. How are you?
Good morning.
All right.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Thankfully, nothing that serious happening. But let's start with the visit by diplomats from Armenia, Azerbaijan to Moscow. Let's start with you, Mr. Kusz. What do you think? They'll be talking about there?
Well, they'll be discussing the situation, also the international situation after the stalled Prigozhin coup attempt. I think that Kremlin will want to show strength, show resilience, but at the same time, it might be interested in while purging both the internal and the external naysayers as far as this is possible. And generally, I think the meeting will be something of a show of unity of the allies of President Putin and showing his robustness. President Putin has been making quite a couple of appearances recently and made quite a couple of statements, one including also the relations between Russia and Poland, trying to simply display political agility, political robustness, to show, to use a colloquial language, that Putin is not dead.
All right. Well, I think we lost Sergey there. All right, Mr. Oh. All right. Mr. Sumlenne. Okay, wonderful. I wonder if you have any, perhaps any additional comments. And I wonder, I'm looking here, I see Armenia, Azerbaijan. Where's Georgia? Why is Georgia not in the group?
Oh, well, first of all, we need to, sorry that my connection is, had experienced certain problems. Looking at this meeting in Moscow, we need to understand that Moscow is trying to demonstrate itself as a huge negotiator and as a very important peace trader. Especially in the context of the Russia's escalation around the grain deal, bombarding the grain terminals in Odessa, Mykolaiv, and other Ukrainian ports. Russia wants to create an impression in the world that Russia brings peace. Russia.
Yeah, unfortunately, we do have technical problems with Mr. Sumlenne. Mr. Kush, I wonder, why is Georgia not part of that team?
Well, Georgia is sitting on the fence, in the sense that it has a strong pro-Russian oligarchy, and Mr. Bidzina Ivanishvili is the face of that pro-Russian business oligarchy, and I will not hesitate to say this aloud, which I would not be able to do were I in Georgia. But on the other hand, Mr. Bidzina is a businessman. The Georgian society is quite critical of a pro-Russian cause, and most of the political elites are people who are Western educated. They speak Western languages. They are close, especially close to Paris, when you look at the education of Mrs. President. And all this makes the country sort of wanting to sit back and not get engaged too much.
Hey yo, semi-luck.
Now Armenia and
As in,
Azerbaijan are in a
when you're
different
chilling,
situation, especially when it comes
you
especially when it
look,
comes to
and when you have to work, you look. You
is
hide in the toilet and you look.
dependent on Russian support, and Azerbaijan has to take
What are we doing?
into account what Russia
Putin?
does. And
It's
how,
because the Russians like war
Georgia,
criminals.
because of how its society
And ironically, nothing else.
became more
He's remaining in power
westernized,
because Russians want him to remain in power.
and how it views its interest is sort of reluctant to take sides, both when it comes to the conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan,
Your neighbor.
and when it comes to the big Russo-Ukrainian.
Your neighbor, who
That
almost
would be my
killed
take on Georgia's
one of your
absence.
country's most
Mr.
famous
Sumlenne,
politicians.
you're back again. Yeah, I just wonder, is Georgia's absence...
Your neighbor
is-
has
because a lot of people have been
killed
saying that there's more and
himself
more
after the
influence
Russian mafia
in-
came to his
in
house.
Georgia. So is this just an outwardly
The fuck was your
absence,
neighbor?
or is this a true absence?
What was he?
Let's say.
Whose
Thank
person
you.
was he?
Well, I believe that
What is that?
the focus of this meeting, it can be
What sort of an
attempt of
existence?
Russia to present itself as a great peace trader.
Hello,
we
Sergey.
have brought Armenia and Azerbaijan one step close together to peace. Like the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, we have already seen the statements by Lavrov that they try to reach
Sadly, he
the border questions, the questions of context between civil societies, how much Russia can help civil societies on the field. It is what they say, it's not what I say. But they want to try to present themselves in the world as a nation which has like secret keys to like all the problems in the world. Like, look, here, like Armenia and Azerbaijan are cooperative, and we brought them to peace. That's how we are good, and let us do the same in Ukraine. I think,
But they're not
that
brought
is
to
why
peace.
Russia tries to limit it to focusing
They're
on
not
Armenia
brought
and
to
Azerbaijan,
peace. They're not.
exactly with this goal to present
Yes,
themselves
actually.
as a solution,
Wait.
not a problem. While we know that without
Ah,
Russia,
calm down. 3 prisoners in a Russian jail have a talk. What are you in for? Ashamed and insulted the war criminal Girkin. And you? I publicly supported the hero of Russia, Girkin. And you? Me? I am Girkin. Car accident was purely coincidental. That's what they all say. That's what they all say. Oh, we accidentally did this. Oh, I accidentally drove my car straight into this other car with one of our country's most well-known politicians. Oh, it just happened accidentally. I don't know. Oh, CNN. If you think CNN has some good takes, you could share. I'm more into, not. I don't really see value in USA media. Boinked another girl while I was with you. Yeah, accidentally. She fell on my cock. She fell on my cock 10 times. I'm just, I don't know. Oh shit, school notebook for Mariupol. With Putin's picture and the following inscription. As I've said many times, the goal is to protect people, and above all, is to protect Russia from the threats they are trying to create on our historical territories adjacent to our own. Let's do some Hitler quotes next. That's going to be great. That's going to be lovely. State Duma adopted amendments banning conscripts from leaving Russia. As soon as summons is issued, Russian men will be barred from all foreign travel. This comes just hours after Deputy Sobolyev's comments in our translated piece below. What were the comments? Calls for fighting. Shut up. Age Russian men to be banned from traveling abroad. Ha ha! Oh no! Oh no! Oh, are these the consequences of our inactions? Yeah, I would mind it. I would mind it.
Когда частичная мобилизация была объявлена, призвано было 30 тысяч, а 600 убежало за границу. Это необходимые меры в условиях специальной военной операции ведения гибридной войны. Как вы думаете? Ну даже 600 тысяч убежало за границу. Поэтому те люди, которые должны идти в вооруженные силы служить, конечно, им должен быть запрещен выезд за границу.
I agree.
Это же элементарно. Понятно, что все у нас...
Unironically, though, I agree. This is going to mean that most Russian men between the ages of, what is it now? 18 and... Is it gonna be like 70? I feel like this is going to make sure that none of them can come to our countries. We're good, my dudes. We're good. Like all of those posts we had to be making these days about Russian war criminals coming into our countries, we won't have to make those anymore because they will not be allowed to come in the first place, and it won't even be because our countries banned them. It would be because Russia doesn't allow them to leave. This is basically Russia solving the issue, you know? We don't have to solve it anymore. We don't have to think about how to ban their visas. They're just not going to be allowed to leave. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, you can just tag me and that's it. You can just take the username and that's that. Russians who haven't fled yet. Sucks to be them. Sucks to be them, what I tell ya. Raise conscription to age 85. See if that helps. Isn't it already kind of close? Hey, I got a video. in my recommendeds, and I just wanted to call you. No, of course you can't call me honey. What are these stupid ass questions? No, tag me if you want me to respond to something, if I haven't seen it before, and that's that. You don't need cutesy little nicknames. That's weird as fuck. I got this video in my recommended, but it doesn't have English subtitles, and I'm very interested in what it is about, because there's Yugoslavia. There's Yugoslavia, and I want to know, and I can't know. Like, I looked at the other, you know, previews of videos, but none of them have subtitles, and I'm so fucking sad. But I'm gonna give you the link anyways, so, you know, if you learn something fun, let me know, because I'll be here crying about the inability to understand the fuck is being said. Seeing all the construction work, I was thinking eventually they will come and destroy everything we built. No, they will not. They will not have the balls to come anywhere close. You gotta be positive. I don't know. I don't want to say positive. Angry enough to be like, no, if they try to come, I'm going to personally go and fuck them all in the ass. That's that. What is this? What is this? What is this? Oh, news on Poland. Oh, news on Poland. NATO, Brazil. How that is true, that is true. You're NATO, so you're okay. You're doing fine. Nothing's gonna happen to you. You're gonna be okay-ish.
Напрямую связано с деятельностью, в том числе польского режима, который является, по сути, поджигателем и разжигателем войны, наряду с режимами стран Балтии. Конечно, значит, жемчужиной среди вот этих всех польских городов является Жешув, потому что это логистический центр, через который все смертоносное оружие перебрасывается на территорию, значит, военных действий. И, конечно, ну, абсолютно очевидно, если бы польский режим это не делал, то и не было бы столько, значит, безвозвратных потерь с обеих сторон.
Fucking normal period when nothing was going on.
Ввязаться в военные действия, став тем самым стороной конфликта. Поэтому рано или поздно каждая сестра должна по своей серьге. И когда президент в такой ироничной, значит,
I wanted to say early 2000s, but like 2008, they already started doing shit, and very, very early 2000s, they were butchering Chechens. So that could be like a little span of like 2 years in between, where the West still liked working with them, and they weren't actively involved in butchering someone. I guess that's that. I guess that's that. Hey yo, Kwa, how's life going? I'm doing okay-ish, actually. I had a lot of work today, so that was really tiring. But I'm happy. I'm happy to be existing, my dude. My camera has almost arrived, so I'm happy about that too. I want to be playing with some new technology. Overall, yay. Also, by the way, I have to. You're really tiring. What do you mean? Also, by the way, DB, you work in retail too, right? You work in retail. Do you also have the changes because of the new law? I mean, kind of retail, right? You work with customers. Yeah. Do you also have more free days next month because of the new law brought about retail workers? You do? Bro, I just learned about it today. We got 2 free days extra. We couldn't believe it. My mother, she's working as a store manager. She had to call her supervisor, and she was like, "Bro, are we like actually getting these 2 days free? Are we actually free?" And she was like, "Yeah, you're free. Like all stores, they're not allowed to be working." It's on 5th and it's on 15th of next month. 5th is the Independence, Oluya. and 15th is the religious one. Yeah, we can't work on those. We always had to work them every single year previously. The store was working on those days. We're not allowed to work this month. We're like actually barred from working, and the firm tried everything they could to keep us working on the religious one, because locally, closely, there is a religious event, so a lot of tourists pass through these parts of the country to reach the tourist event. So the firm tried really, really hard to keep us working on 15th, and they couldn't, because the law is written in such a way as there's no exceptions. What do you mean you lose 20 euros? You gain a free day. Isn't a free day worth so much more than 20 euros? What can you buy for 20 euros? Nothing, bro. I get people coming into the shop, they buy like paprika, they buy some vegetables, they buy some tomatoes, they buy some potatoes, they buy like a little baggie of food that you can barely use to make one lunch with. They spend like 30 euros. It's nothing. Stay home and sleep. Yeah. Fuel to Balaton. You're doing a bike ride. What fuel do you need for a bike? What is your fuel? Is that like beer? Okay. I thought you're doing one of those jokes, you know, when people are like, I'm going with my bike and here's the fuel, and then they have like a crate of beer. I was trying to figure out if that's what you're doing. 20 euros get spent like 2 euros. But USA is... Hey, by the way, I tried to Google USA. I tried to Google USA ID. Okay, look, first of all, when you Google USA identity card, Wikipedia is literally like, oh, USA has no proper identity card. But I tried to Google the thing that gives you the driver's license, and I can't find the working time of these places. I was basically trying to figure out why you don't have the 1 day different schedule work. It seems very reasonable to have that, and I'm not sure why you don't have it. So I was trying to figure out how they work and why they don't have that, and I managed to figure out nothing. So I guess that's an interesting point to bring up. 20 euros, 6-pack and a couple pack of cigarettes. Couple pack of cigarettes? Okay, depends which 6-pack. Do you buy some expensive ass beer? Because then yeah. Hey, yo, slippers, how's life? But yeah. Cigarettes are like 5 euros, right? 4 to 5 euros most. You can buy, I think 4 euros 10 is like the cheapest one. So yeah, 20 euros, you can get like 4 of them and you get some little extra change. Just waking up. Good morning. We had a storm already and it passed, and now we're waiting for a new one. So I'm kind of hyped about that. I'm happy about that. We're going to be having a huge temperature drop in the next few days, so be happy with me. Also, I'm free 2 days next month. 2 extra days, technically. Like we must, by law, have 2 days. No, by law, we must have 1 day free every week. But also, they added the holidays to the list of days where you absolutely can't work as a store. So I'm happy. Hey Siri, blocked. Reported and blocked. Reported and blocked and also hated. Hey, also I saved a video on Serbia. I saved. Oh, it says new. Wasn't this like 5 months ago? No, it's the same fucking video. Just for some reason, it's like recommended to me on 2 different it's recommending itself when you watch it. 64 different countries. It's weird you don't have an ID though. It's very, very weird if people don't have an ID for like USA citizens overall. Why don't you have that shit? Just, it would make so many things easier. But no. Instead of having something useful, we're going to be having now what USA likes. Nothing too good. Oh shit, I clicked on this. Chicken noodles. I make really spicy ones. So maybe that. 1420, I got 1420. I said 1420, their new videos. Okay, we watched one yesterday. We watched this one yesterday. I saved this one yesterday, but we didn't watch it. And then this one was published today. So we could watch this one. We could watch this one so I can hate on them. Let's go hate on some Russians. I'm in the mood to be absolutely pissed off. What did I want? What did I want on? Rate a country, Belarus. I want to say 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10 specifically because there is a chance that they improve their shit ass leadership, but I don't have too much trust in them. I think learning about Tsikhanouskaya being useless kinda crumbled my views on Belarus, to be honest. Like, I truly saw her as some sort of a hero, whatever the fuck, I don't know. I thought she was proper. And then it just seems like she's not doing anything. She's kind of being like Navalny's wife. I don't know. Aren't you always pissed off? Very, very often, yes. Very often. To be fair, I follow a lot of news and I probably shouldn't be doing that. Like, I open Twitter and I see the news post and I'm pissed off, and then I go into comments and then I get more pissed off. I think I have kind of arranged my daily life around just being angry and then angrier. And I'm not sure how smart that is. Like, I open my Facebook, I get angry. I follow very, how to say this, angering stuff on Facebook. I was in a couple of groups previously, and it's groups made for screenshotting cringe people online, and they kind of created a situation where I'm just hating on people all of the time. Like, I have this one group which is people screenshotting anti-vaxxers, and then I hate on anti-vaxxers. And there's this one group which constantly posts screenshots of people who don't know how science works, and then I get angry at that. Recently I learned there's this subreddit about people who fuck up their own recipes. Have you guys learned about that? It's such an angering thing. How's it called? Fuck, I could show it to you on stream. It's not safe for work. I didn't have... Wait, let me try in another browser, because I don't want to open Reddit in proper one. But there's this one subreddit, and it's dedicated to people who write they dislike one part of the recipe, change this part of the recipe that they dislike, and then they bitch about the fact that they don't like whatever they made with the recipe, and it just gets me angry every time. Everything I'm doing is just making me angry. I think I found it. Here it is, look at this. Decent flag. This is the one, it's called I Didn't Have Eggs. And then it's like, I don't like peaches, so I substituted carrots. It wasn't very good. It needs more sweetness. Let me see top all time. Doesn't sound very healthy. To be fair, it's fun, so... Oh shit, this one who didn't even read the recipe properly. Okay, that doesn't count. Doesn't count, doesn't count. I substituted tofu for the steak, corn pops for the potatoes, and used some dandelions instead of the jalapenos. It was awful. Never again. Use a heat-resistant spoon. That one's okay. That one's okay. I feel like when you look at the new ones, you get more angry in them. When you look at the top ones, it's actually okay. Season the eggs. Oh, fucking based. Fucking based. Oh, this one. I remember this one. I saw this one. I noticed there were no eggs in this recipe, so I added one. What a disappointment. The edges were baked and the middle was complete mush, even after I put it back in the oven for 40 minutes. Hey, I noticed there's no eggs, so I added eggs, despite the fact your recipe doesn't call for eggs. And now, the result is not what I wanted it to be or what you told me it would be, so I'm angry and I'm giving it 1 star. People here make dandelion salads. Old people. Very, very, very old people. I guess it's like probably even good. I don't know, I've never tried it. People don't really make it too much. Also, I have tried meditation, but you know what's the problem with meditation? Is that your brain goes everywhere, and I'm not really a big fan of that. And then I keep on thinking about stupid shit. I just keep on thinking about very, very stupid shit.
Спецоперация, война, называет. Была бы ваша жизнь лучше?
Не связываю свою жизнь со спецоперацией. Лучше не хуже. Моя жизнь есть. Ну, я думаю, то, что спецоперация отражается скорее на ментальной составляющей. Но если найти в себе силы адекватно 2 страницы, то, в принципе, остальные сферы жизни никак не затронутся.
То изменения в лучшую сторону или наоборот негативно? Я правильно понимаю, что это больше из-за вот событий, которые
Ну, она как была, я считаю, у богатых людей, так она и осталась нормальной. Ну, средний класс, думаю, да, немного страдает.
А как страдал, в чем конкретно?
Средний класс, зарплаты упали, работали, немного тяжко. Ну, а так, в принципе, ну, цены подскочили на машины, на квартиру подорожали.
Ну, у меня бизнес стартанул в основном даже из-за того, что ситуация
Jelly.
ушел один бренд, из России нет представительства этого бренда, и я начал им торговать, и, в принципе, из-за этого я бизнес пошел. Каких-то осложнений в связи с этим я не ощущаю.
My man's like, I got a business only and solely. Is this too loud? I got a business only and solely because of because of the war. So like I like that. I got the business only and solely because of the war happening and the sanctions and businesses leaving. So yeah, because of this, I'm okay with the war starting. Why is it for a year and 2 and 3rd? The job? Because I'm a replacement for a woman who is on maternity leave.
Была бы ваша жизнь лучше?
Если бы не началось СВО, она бы была гораздо проще. Ну, потому что доллар был бы, да, в свободном хождении. Было бы гораздо проще.
Окей.
Да, банально, да, о чем мы говорим, работал бы Apple Pay, да? Ну, вот банально, да, такая вещь, когда ты сейчас не можешь выйти из карты из дома или без наличия. Но в то же время кризис — это всегда окно возможностей, да, то есть, поэтому было сначала тяжело, потом приспособились нормально.
See, that's a problem. Like, it was hard at first and then they adapted. We should not have allowed them to adapt. We should have struck them harder. This is a problem. This is showing a problem. This video must be shown to every single European Union parliament person to be like, hey bro, these are the things you need to sanction more. They're adapting. This is not good.
Я вижу как минус, так и плюс. Если бы ничего не началось, то это все продолжилось статично, и никакого импульса для роста, для движения не было бы.
Вот, а сейчас я очень многому обучился, очень много санкций могу обойти, приобрел
They're
внутренний успех,
bypassing them.
расти в карьере, в работе, в проектах,
They're
да, и всё
bypassing
остальное.
them.
Вот так вот. А без этого я бы этому не научился, и как следствие и был бы совершенно другой результат.
Я бы сказала, стало тяжелее, потому что мне стало тяжелее находить иностранных клиентов, а очень бы хотелось как фрилансер выходить на иностранный рынок, в том числе, потому что есть, определенный момент того, что сложно перевести оплату,
It's
заключить
something.
договор, сложно, в принципе, в адекватном виде подать резюме на некоторых платформах. Вот с технологической точки зрения тяжелее стало. Чувствуется такая интернетная изоляция.
Good.
Как менялась ваша жизнь за последний год? Последний год? Особенно никак. То есть,
But we do have stats that like China is sending them out of shit, right?
ну, Spotify, допустим, ушел из России, да? Пришлось перейти на другие сервисы. Ну, а почему все-таки лучше была бы жизнь? Мне просто иногда люди говорили, что либо ничего там не поменялось бы в этой жизни, у них конкретно, либо даже у кого-то лучше стало, были такие.
Например, к большому сожалению,
Actually,
очень давний
do you feel like everyone's married?
очень давно.
Everyone around me is married. I come from Balkans. People marry very, very young. I'm like the black sheep.
Я считаю, что жизнь была лучше для тех людей,
Black sheep of the family.
Он умер.
Евреи же говорят, да, не зря, что лучше торговать, чем...
Bro.
Мне кажется, не надо было начинать это все. Я не вижу смысла убивать. Не надо было начинать это все. Я не вижу смысла убивать других людей, да, прикрываясь благородным целям. Либо тотальная война, либо же, не лезть просто и все.
Я общалась с
Bro, it's an all-out war.
25 лет в Москве.
You're just stupid.
Сама народом из Украины. И она говорит, что еще в советское время, когда был распад, рассказывала мне, что еще тогда их начали притеснять, отбирать советские паспорта. В общем, так, и что еще? Если не будет украинского паспорта...
Bro, the fuck is she being like? She's like when Soviet Union collapsed. When Soviet Union collapsed, the Russians in Ukraine, I assume, were oppressed because their Soviet passports were taken from them? Like, of course. There was no Soviet Union anymore. Did she... What, was she planning to live on a Soviet passport forever? There's no Soviet Union. It's dead, bitch. It's dead. Of course the passport was worthless. Yeah, of course. You gotta be a citizen. Yeah, when you're in Ukraine, if you don't have a Ukrainian passport, you won't be able to work. You gotta be a citizen. If you're not a citizen, you gotta be on some sort of a visa or whatever to be allowed to work. That's how it works in all countries. Was she like legit surprised by that shit? Oh, is she trying to do the thing with like what's it called? The thing they do in Baltics. The thing they do in Baltics with alien citizens. Oh, she was hoping that she could live as an alien citizen. That's what bitch was doing. She was like, I'm gonna stay Soviet, because that's what they did in Baltics. We had one chatter who like was coming on stream constantly to bitch about that. What happened is when Baltics got free from Soviet Union, a lot of Soviets, meaning Russians, who were moved into the Baltics to replace the population that Soviets killed. Lots of these Russians didn't want to become the citizens of these Baltic states, but they did not want to become citizens of Russia. They wanted to remain Soviet citizens. So what they did is they kept on telling to themselves that they are Soviet citizens, and the Baltics at the time didn't figure out how big of a problem this is going to become. So they were like, yeah, I don't know what to do with you, so we're just going to allow you to stay here. And it has reached a situation where very recently they had to implement a law so that any child born in these states is getting nationality by being born there. You can't keep your children to be alien citizens without nationality, because that's what they were doing. They are so desperate to keep on living in Soviet Union, which does not exist. they would be having children and they would refuse to grant citizenship to these children. They would choose to not give them the citizenship. So the children would grow up as alien citizens too, and then they would have less chances for certain things where you need to be a citizen, because their parents didn't want to make them into citizens because they are full of shit. So this one also sounds like that. Talking about that preferential treatment, have you guys seen Lavrov bitching about... which country is it? Which country is it? Fuck, I have it saved. Where is... Holy shit, Twitter is now X. So I tried to look for Twitter in my saved things, and I only saw X, and I was like, the fuck is this? Here it is, here it is. Kyrgyz. In Kyrgyzstan, civil servants, teachers, doctors, and public service providers will now have to know Kyrgyz language. In Kyrgyzstan, they will have to know Kyrgyz. So yeah, Lavrov obviously saw that as a horror, and he's bitching about this. He's basically like, oh, this is not democratic, this is not a good decision. We are feeling strongly discriminated against because of this. Just being a little bitch. But that's basically what it feels like when this one talks about her Soviet passport being taken away. It's like, you're just being a little bitch. You're just being a little pussy. You're doing the American thing, you know. You're just playing the victim. Not a fan.
Не будет украинского паспорта, то тогда не сможешь работать. В общем, это еще привилось все с молоком матери, ненависть к
Based.
русскому народу.
There's a lot of things to be addressed. There is a lot of misunderstanding.
No, there isn't.
And by the end of the day,
No.
people are miserable on both sides. People are suffering.
People are miserable on both sides because one side is full of shit, like this dude. People are miserable on both sides.
And for me, the main issue is that people on the other side.
People on the other side don't realize we want to genocide them. Bullshit. Bullshit.
And, well, if we don't talk about like basic stuff like I can't buy Mountain Dew no more, and I love Mountain Dew.
Good.
There's pretty much no music, no new music on Russian.
Good too.
So I had to make things on Spotify account like that. But I don't know, living as Russia is stressful by itself, and now you know, somebody feel guilt. Some people feel guilt because they have to pay taxes in Russia. They go to court.
Feel guilt.
Sponsor the war. Some people just realize the life is changing.
The fuck was that? People are suffering on both sides. People are miserable on both sides. Let me bring up 3 examples. No Mountain Dew, no Spotify, paying taxes feels bad. Let me compare this to how people are miserable on the other side. Maybe you bitch ass little boy. What a piece of shit.
Новые возможности, новые перспективы, так как я нашел нормальную оплачиваемую работу. До этого подрабатывал, официально нигде не работал.
Think positively, though. All of these people are between the ages of 18 and 75.
Для меня, наоборот, только новые, возможно, новые перспективы. Хотел бы сказать, что бы ни случилось, надо всегда верить в то, что у тебя все получится. Потому что трудности на самом деле дают возможность. Чем больше трудностей, тем больше возможностей. Такая теория.
You're gonna see your hardships.
Потому что огромное количество моих друзей из Украины, и по сути получается, что
Yes.
разместились на 2 лагеря, белое и черное, и ты обязан поддерживать какую-то определенную сторону, и это не может не печалить. Вот, поэтому да, повлияло.
Why the fuck would it make you sad? Why the fuck would it make you sad unless you are a piece of shit already? Yes, people are put in 2 camps. Yes, only one camp is actually a proper one. Being in the other one should make you condemned by everyone normal. Why the fuck would that make you sad? There's a whole fucking invasion ongoing. A genocidal fucking invasion that Putin is very, very open about being genocidal. And you're being like, I'm very, very sad because I have to condemn what Russia is doing. These are like 2 camps, black and white. Yes, there is. Shut the fuck up. 30 years? Bro, they had like 500 days of the full-scale invasion. A bit more than 500 days at this point to do something. They did nothing. Useless. Titosexual. Titosexual means being attracted to qualities represented by former Yugoslav president and revolutionary Josip Broz Tito. These qualities being hating Soviets, borrowing a lot of cash, dying before returning all of this cash. What else did we have? I had another one. Oh, trying to do something in the dark lands of Balkans. Also that one, also that one. So, you know, the three big qualities. Overall, I'm trying to get people to talk about Tito because I've learned that Tito is the most well-known person from Yugoslavia in the Western spaces, and even then, they don't know what Tito is or what Yugoslavia was. So, it's an interesting conversation to have, and I love starting it, and Tito sexuality is being used as a way to start it. It's very, very cool even when I speak to former Yugoslavs, how many of them like don't know that Tito was a war criminal, or how many of them don't know how the exchange of power in Yugoslavia worked, how many of them don't know how the constitution of Yugoslavia was written, what was the last constitution. I had a conversation about this today with someone, so it's fresh in my mind. The conversation about Yugoslavian constitution and how like Serbs themselves fucking hated on it and they actually broke it by refusing to grant Kosovo autonomy. It's an interesting conversation to have, and a lot of us know nothing about it. I actually have a book. Where's my Patreon? I haven't used this in a while. I need to start using this again. But I actually have a book, and it's a really, really good book, and I need to show it to you now. And the book is on... here it is, Pax Curatorum. It's on Croatian students' views of Yugoslavia. And they basically asked a bunch of students questions about, you know, the history of Yugoslavia, and they were trying to figure out how much do these students know about the history of Yugoslavia. And it turned out that they don't really know much. They genuinely don't know much. A lot of them are so stupid on this. A lot of current Croatian students are uneducated in a war we just had like 30 years ago. So, you know, I think it's really, really important to have these conversations. Yeah, Tito was a war criminal. Yeah, Bleiburg was a war crime. Despite the fact that people killed were Nazis and Nazi collaborators, possible Nazi collaborators, some of them, Bleiburg was by definition a war crime. No, Spicy, it wouldn't. Why can't you just use the username? Why do you need nicknames? I don't think there's a need for that. You can't forget that the Russian budget is living on massive amounts of debt. No economy can call that adapting in the long run. Okay, shit, yeah, that too. Who? Can't really feel sexual attraction to a non-war criminal person. I mean, have you ever... I wanted to recommend that you go watch Top Sen, but I was like, I don't know if he would be feeling happy with that sort of an endorsement. If I was Balkan, I'd prefer not to know the deets. The thing is, I like knowing the details because I like feeling smart in conversations. So I purposefully go out of my way to read more and to learn more shit, so I can always be the smart one. It's the ego thing. I like being the one like, hey, I know every single detail, so that's why my political positions are correct. Because I know every single detail of every single thing that has happened. I went balls deep into researching Yugoslav constitution just today. Yugoslav constitution of 1974, and then how it changed, and then how it was amended. How Serbian constitutional amendments in 1990 already broke it, and how they saw it as a very, very bad thing for Serbs overall when the constitution happened, because basically they saw it as a constitution which is making weaker Serbia, and then in return for weaker Serbia they were supposed to get stronger Yugoslavia, but they saw that as like an unfair thing. They saw it as an unfair switch. Maybe switch is a good word, because the Yugoslav constitution has given autonomy to Kosovo and Vojvodina both. So Serbs in 1990 have amended their own Serbian constitution to give less power to these two, basically breaking the Yugoslav constitution, which is a very, very good argument to have at hand, because very often when people talk about the breakup of Yugoslavia, they will bring up the fact that Slovenia and Croatia broke out of Yugoslavia by breaking the constitution, because they were not supposed to be allowed to break out without having the allowance of all of the other states. And a good response to that is that Serbia already broke the constitution too. Everyone was breaking the constitution at the time. That's because Yugoslavia died with the failure of Congress is the word, with the failure of 14th Yugoslavian Communist Congress, in which republics were like, hey, we kind of want to have a bit more power for ourselves, and Milosevic was like, no, you're not allowed that. So Slovenians walked out, and then Croats walked out, and then Congress was not able to continue, and it crumbled, and that is how Yugoslavia itself crumbled. So overall, an interesting conversation to have, and I really, really like encouraging people to learn more. I've met a lot of people from the outside who are very Yugoslav deluded. So, you know, it's interesting. Didn't affect you enough, you little bitch boy. To be fair though, I do want to be fair to Serbia. The reason why we mostly talk about Serbia being very bad is because mostly when we have Serbs in chat, they are the ones kind of making excuses for it. I don't think Serbia was the only bad side during our war. I do think, for example, Croatian invasion of Bosnia, I definitely think it should have been condemned way earlier. It was only recently when international court has recognized that Croatian invasion on Bosnia was an international invasion. It was the first time they called it an international invasion and not a civil war in Bosnia. That was a strong, strong thing. I do think our crimes should be acknowledged more. I do think we should be talking about that more. It's just that Serbs are the ones you most often see, you know, crying about their faults being brought to light. That was my experience so far. The rest 1% of war crimes were done by other ex-EU nations. Oh, come on. We did... Okay, no, that I can't say the percentages, but we did some serious shit, okay? The rest of us did some serious shit. By the way, I don't know if you guys know the Balkan people around here. I don't know if you know, but did you know you can look through the official documents from the courts by keywords? Fuck, I need to find this. Let me show you the site. You may be it's not like it's a big fact or something. It was never hidden from people. But you can look at the can't find now. It's not loading for me now. The history of like stuff that I've looked at, it's not loading. But basically, you can look at all of the court documents, and you can look at them by keywords. So I've keyword searched my village. I keyword searched my grandmother. I keyword searched certain people from the village who are connected, stuff like that. Very interesting read. So I recommend you go look at it if you want to have like a more, I want to say, closer view of the war. I recommend you go and look at it. Was bombing the fuck out of the country? No, that was a different thing. That was the based part of the war, when NATO went in and dropped a few bombs on Belgrade. That was the based part of the war. Should have happened earlier. Should have happened earlier if the fuckers chunked a bomb on Belgrade when Croats asked them to, which was like when we tried to bomb the Statue of Liberty. When did we try to bomb Statue of Liberty? 1980 something, right? If USA listened to us at the time and chunked a bomb at Belgrade, we would still be doing okay. But nay. A lot to shield the white, educated Russian regions from the consequences of war. Inflation in other regions are through the roof and making life even harder than before. That's based. I haven't thought about that, but yeah, he's going through. Holy shit! I read Reddit and I was like, what? But he is asking people in Moscow, so yeah, I imagine their views are a bit more skewed.
Тяжело выехать из-за границы, поехать куда-то отдыхать. Тяжело пойти купить какие-то вещи. Квартиры все подросли, вообще все цены на все. Вот. Ну так, ну конечно мобилизовывают.
I haven't seen any new explosion videos. You just reminded me.
Экономика идет вообще в жопу.
Столько страданий получается.
Oh no, this one again.
Санкции, там люди не могут летать.
This one
хотят
again.
теперь, или приходится платить гораздо больше. Огромное количество ограничений. Вот ради чего все эти страдания?
Well, the thing is, as a Russian person, suffering is a major part of your life. Like, year by year, life just getting harder, more sanctions, more moronic decisions from the government. But things that are happening right now is...
Oh no. Very sad.
It feels unspeakable. It's like most of the Russian people had a lot of shit to deal with, and you can't even have a split second to think about other people. Now you have to deal with that shit also.
I would fucking pay to have this dude have a conversation with that other dude whose life got even better after the war started. I would pay cash money, just put them in the same room, just to see what goes on.
Как получается, кто виноват-то в этом всем? Зачем вообще людям умирать ни за что?
Если честно, не мне судить.
Чисто как кажется, естественно, мы здесь...
Yeah, I was wondering, I don't know if I took it. Look, I hate them. So I don't know if the way I'm understanding his words is because I'm very salty about Russians. But he goes, you can't even have a split second to think about other people. Now you have to deal with that shit also. And I don't know what he is referring to when he says now you have to deal with that shit also. Because it very much sounds like he is expected to put his position in shadows, and what he is supposed to be focusing on is the suffering of Ukrainians. And that's what he thinks is dealing with that shit also. And I don't know if I'm properly understanding that is what he meant to say. If he meant something on a more personal, individual basis, I don't know, but that is how I understood it, and it's just making me feel not really too good.
А как так получается, кто виноват-то в этом всем? Зачем вообще людям умирать ни за что?
Если честно, не мне судить.
Чисто как кажется.
United States isn't engaged in a genocidal invasion though, so USA based.
Мировая политика.
Зачем тогда все это происходит, если жизнь лучше не стала?
Просто по приказу одного человека, который немного... Ну, в общем, нельзя много говорить, но мы все понимаем, почему это происходит, и нам всем это не нравится. Я думаю, так. Это не очень крутая история.
Budget excuse be like, bad things happening.
Имеют ли смысл вот эти страдания?
By acknowledging that bad things are happening, I have rebelled enough.
И в 23-м году бесконечно важна каждая жизнь, каждый отдельно взятого человека, она не стоит ни капли пролитой крови. Если они хотят воевать, пусть идут в окопы, воюют. А как всегда получается, что обычные люди идут и умирают из-за непонятно, что завтра перемирие объявят и что дальше.
There will not be a truce. There will... Oh shit, he believes. No, bitch. There will not be a truce. There will not be a truce because Russia must lose this. You're waiting for them to start negotiations? There's not going to be negotiations. The negotiations are going to be on how much this dude and his children will have to be paying in reparations. That's it. He goes pursuing their interests as if the interests are, I don't know, cash money or territory or whatever. When Ukrainian interest is like, hey bro, I just wanted to be allowed to exist. Okay, these are my borders, just leave me alone. Leave me alone. Let me live. and the Russian interests are fucking shit up. Why is he doing this?
Ни за что бы не пошел, ни за родину, ни за кого, ни за Сталина, ни за Путина, ни за Лукашенко, ни кого бы передо мной не поставь, я бы ни за что не пошел.
This also, I think it's a weird. I don't know if you guys have had this situation. Your GDX situation happen, but I remember when I was like younger, and people talking about fighting in the Croatian war, and how they went to fight, how they volunteered there, you know, how they were in great danger. And I remember as a kid being like, bro, I would never do this. I would never do this. Like, if a war starts in Croatia, we're leaving Croatia. I would never fucking go to a war. I don't understand people who went to a war. I don't understand people who volunteered. And I think in a way, I don't know, I think this situation made me rethink that a lot. I think it makes you realize that there are ideas worth fighting for. There are values worth fighting for. And there are values worth defending. And I definitely think that when it comes to Ukrainians, I can fully understand why they are fighting and what they are fighting for. And in the same way, it really made me analyze the Croatian situation too. And I can absolutely understand it so much better. I can definitely understand why these people went to volunteer and what they fought for so much better than I could do it before. It's gonna change in the world if that happens. I bet our grandparents and grandparents did not think we're going to see in our lifetime such an evil, true Nazi war. Yeah, that too. Because that too, they were like, yay! Freedom from USSR. Why is the West sanctioning us? I can't even play on my Xbox anymore. They shut us from the Microsoft servers. It reminds me of that one Twitch streamer. She was like, oh, why is the West sanctioning us? They don't allow us to get money from PayPal anymore. Now they have ruined the incomes of hundreds of Russian streamers. Bitch, your country is doing an invasion. Who the fuck cares? Who the fuck gives a shit? They were not even any sort of an activist or whatever. When people asked about her opinion on the war, she was like, no, I can't say it. I can't say it. I'm in Russia. You can't be saying stuff like that. Why should we then feel bad for taking Western shit away from you? This is a war against the Western values. Bro. Go and make your own shit-ass people. I wanted to click on something, by the way, and I don't know what it was. I had a plan, and I forgot it. Oh yeah, I remembered it. Have you guys seen the Barbie movie? Because I just got this. So have you seen it? Because I have, and it was actually really, really good. Come on. But like the sound. Listen to it. No, it's actually unironically a good movie. It's very, very fun to watch. I recommend it. I don't want to be giving you. Barbie cars don't have engines, so they don't break. Our cars do. We are fundraising for the repairs. Based. Gonna retweet. Google's Barbie puns in PayPal comments. Oh. But yeah, based movie. Fucking based movie. Really, really fun to watch. A bit cringe at parts, but really, really fun at other parts. So it evens out. Trust me, it evens out. It's really, really good. Oppenheimer, I still haven't watched it. I do plan to see it though. I love the main actor. And also I've heard that the movie is very interesting historically. So I'm very, very interested in that. Russian who went to a maybe killed person's house in Ukraine, stealing Xbox and later posting it on the internet. Hey, Ukrainian who lived at this address, what is your password? Holy shit! Holy shit! Prison for all of them. Just, oof, big prison for all of them. He makes a bomb. Oppenheimer? No chance. Ah, shit, bro, come on. You've taken the whole fun part away from it. Have you seen the people on Twitter who claim that the bomb was never real? There's a whole little community whose entire business is reminding people that the bomb was never real and it never existed, and to do all of the testing and all of the making of the bomb was fake. It was just done for USA to kind of flex with lies. You watched Oppenheimer? GG acting, GG sound, decent historical accuracy, nice. Chose Barbie over Oppenheimer. To be fair, Barbie was in our cinemas earlier, so I couldn't really watch Oppenheimer. I think Oppenheimer got in the cinemas this week, and Barbie was there last week. Yeah. So I watched Barbie first. It was really, really good. Real boob, not your Zen fucking 2D shit. You know those you have seen him, there he goes. You know those 4D movies where it's like you get rain and you get wind and you get bullshit like that? How cool would it be? How cool would it be if like there's some boobies in the movie and like a set of tits just like jiggles in front of you? We need to make that. We need to do that. Real Oppenheimer. Is that going to be Barbieheimer? Oh no, it isn't. I was like, is that gonna be a meme? And it wasn't. It's actually a proper.
People cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him,
Schittenheimer.
on his multi-armed form, he says,
Peak cinema, I know, right?
now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. I suppose we all thought that, one way or another.
Oh. What is with my recommended? Holy shit, there's just all chaos. Probably as accurate as other shit movies. Yeah, but like that is why
I'm very glad to see this.
that is why I recommend you go and watch Barbie. Because Barbie is actually good. Barbie is actually good and it's actually fun. And there's no historical accuracy. No historical accuracy. Who did it? Because it's just fun. It is just fun. That's it, okay? So go and watch Barbie. Go and watch Barbie. What next about Bazooka? Shit, yeah, I wanted to show it on stream yesterday. You just reminded me. I had it saved for stream yesterday and then we talked about something else and I didn't show it at all. Here it is. It's in my bookmarks. Zoka deleted his fucking account. A little coward bitch boy. I guess he got scared he's gonna lose his job, which is good, by the way. This is good. Every single one of them should be scared of losing everything they have. Now you have to watch Barbie. You have to watch Barbie. It's so good. There's a scene. I don't want to spoil it to you, okay? I don't want to give you too many spoilers, but Ken really they basically come to the real world and Ken learns about patriarchy. And it's actually really fun. And Ken is also the best character, by the way. Ken is the best character. And I usually don't really like the dude who is acting as Ken. What's his name? I don't know what his name is, okay? But I'm usually a hater of the dude, okay? I usually don't like him. I feel like his looks are overhyped, and that makes every appearance of his very cringe to watch. Top 10. Oh, that would be cool. Can we do... Oh, shit. What is that video editing thing where you put someone's face in a video? You know what I mean? It was a really big thing on TikTok for a while. It was you could like take what's the word, music videos, and then you put a photo of yourself, and like the program puts your face instead of the singer's face. We need to do that. We need to do that shit. We need to put Thompson into a couple of scenes from Barbie the movie. He would fit in so well. Holy shit, I gotta do that. Oh, and Margot is amazing. Margot is gorgeous and I love her. But the dude who's acting as Ken, I don't remember his. I do that on porn with random people from Instagram. That's illegal. Unironically, that's illegal in Croatia. I'm gonna report you now. Ryan, his name is Ryan. Okay, I hate Ryan. I'm a big hater of Ryan. But he was actually funny in the movie. I think I understood the charm. The charm is that he looks very, very dumb. And that makes him a perfect dude for comedy. It's because his face is like that. I understood it. Because all of this time, I was kind of a hater of the dude. Because he was always very hyped for his looks, but I never understood what the hype was about. He looks kinda averagey. I've never really gotten it, but like he is funny, so that counts. It gives him like points. It gives him some pluses. Margot, I don't know. I thought Margot was gorgeous in Barbie the movie. Holy shit, she was beautiful. There are some scenes in the movie where you're just looking at her and you're just like, holy shit. Holy... A person like that exists. I'm out here looking like whatever the fuck. And a person like that is allowed to roam the earth. That should be illegal. She should be punished for that. We make another Goliotok for like gorgeous people. That's what we do, okay? That's what we do. Yeah, okay. Margot though, otherworldly. There's few scenes from the movie that I remember specifically because I saw the scene and I was like, wow. Just wow. Beautiful woman. La La Land? Hey, I actually haven't. I kept on wanting to watch it, and then I was always just delaying it, and I actually never got through it. You now reminded me of the movie. I need to download it. I need to download that. Nah, ugly people based. Pretty people need to be made illegal. Ugly people are based. Have you ever met an ugly person who was not based in their views? You probably haven't. Ugly people have really, really good personalities. I have a theory. This is because we all were bullied in high school, elementary school, and then we needed to form really strong personalities to fight off this bullying. When you look at pretty people, how many pretty people do you know who are based? Probably zero. Probably zero. Like, you know, no pretty people who are based. It's because they were the bully ones, okay? They were the bullying ones. They didn't need to form a personality. They were just like, I'm so pretty. And they got everything, so. Ugly and dumb. Okay, yeah, that too. Talking about ugly and dumb, to bring us back to the topic. Meet Zoka. Zoka is a Bosnian social media personality, which is the funniest batch of words to see at one spot. Zoka is best known for his conspiratorial analysis on the war in Syria and for his pro-Russian takes on the Russo-Ukrainian war. And also for being a Bosnian who supports Russia, because that is a fucking retarded position. Imagine being a Bosnian. Imagine being the biggest victim of the breakup of Yugoslavia, a nation invaded by two neighboring nations and still supporting Russia's invasion on Ukraine. Can you imagine the stupidity? The just absolute plain stupidity. Man's a nurse. This plays into, if you remember for a while, TikTok had this idea that every person who is a nurse is actually a piece of shit bully, and that they go to be a nurse because they feel good having power over other people. Unironically, Zoka is an example of that. Okay, there's no chance this man feels any sort of compassion or empathy for any of the people he works on. You have to be a special piece of shit to be supporting Russia right now. And then to be a Bosnian? They're just a piece of shit on so many new levels. But yeah, Zoka belongs to the big three of pro-Russian Twitter analysis political commentators. The other two are Trollstoy, who, what was it with his account? Oh, he blocked a bunch of people, I think. I think he didn't block me. I think I should be okay. Yeah, one of them is Trollstoy. This is Trollstoy, and Trollstoy is Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia. Sal, you idiot. But yeah, one of them is Trollstoy, who is German, pretending to be Russian, and the other one is Richard Z, Austrian IT support guy. So, like, you know, it's the big three. He's a Serb, not a Bosnian. He whined about the fact Serbs in Serbia called him a Bosnian when he visited there. Man's bullied by Serbs, probably bullied by Bosnians, bullied by everyone he meets, and then he goes and he supports Russian invasion. Ukraine was silent about saving Bosnians because Russia was pro-Serbia and they didn't want to ruin politics. Yeah, I'm aware of that. Yeah, I'm even okay with that. Or when it comes to Ukraine not recognizing Kosovo independence, I think it's understandable. Like, politically, I see it. This is just as much about Lazo's catfishing personality as it is about him. For a long time, Lazo used pictures of a young and attractive Russian girl as his profile picture and in his tweets. The strategy of using attractive yet fake images to attract online audiences is called catfishing, and it's been used online since the birth of the internet. Recent developments in filter and deepfakes has made it easier for people to catfish for donations and attention online. Look at the best video ever. One better-known example of this kind of activity was the 50-year-old Japanese biker dude who used these filters to make him appear as a young, attractive girl. Nice. I should do this. The saddest thing is, though, he actually looks really, really good. But, like, I don't know if that's just my like for hair talking, or if I would like the way he looks regardless. I just think he looks really, really good. Would follow if he didn't use FaceApp too. Oh, he's showing how he edits everything. Wait, like, do people actually fall for that? They do? Oh, that's looking realistic, actually. Based. Fucking Great. Lazo's fake persona was a Russian powerlifter and propaganda figure called Mariana Naumova. She's been Russia's propaganda sweetheart since 2015, and you might remember her from sending a video greeting to Schwarzenegger after he appealed Russia to stop their illegal war. Oh, nice. What? Please find and reread the letters that the children of Donbass wrote to you back in 2015. I invite you to see everything with your own eyes. Don't side with Skynet. Oh, what a bitch. Oh, what a bitch. At the beginning of the full-scale invasion, Naumova was traveling around invaded areas in Ukraine, producing propaganda for the Russian masses. She has since participated in actual war activities too. Naumova is a member of Russia's Communist Party and a Stalin fangirl. Ukrainian military vessel named Donbass. It came from Odessa but ended its journey here in Mariupol port. Proudly orders a launch of Grad unguided rockets to murder Ukrainians with a smirk of satisfaction. What the fuck? What's the actual fuck? Okay, fair. In addition to idolizing Stalin, Mariana has shown her support for war criminals like Slobodan Milosevic. Fair, okay, off to a great start, Slobodan Milosevic. Assad and Kim Jong-un. She also appeared on various occasions together with Russian neo-Nazi Russisch leader Milchakov. Great. Just amazing, great. Let's go back to Lazo. His expertise on war comes from his relatively long career in working as a nurse near the Bosnian town of Mostar. Even though his Twitter profile says he's in Baranda, Serbia. Oh, so wait, so yeah, Serb. Oh. Okay. So he was a nurse posting about working during COVID shifts, and that's how he got Twitter known. Soon after reaching the ripe age of 18, he started simping online for Syria's Assad and Putin, and the war effort in Syria. He painted the NGO group White Helmets, who were responsible in aiding civilians in war zones, as terrorists and paid actors. Russian warplanes target one of the most prominent strongholds of terrorist groups in former town of Idlib countryside. Hey, thank you for joining, Hakes. Thank you. How's everything there? I hope it's going well. Well, sources confirm that more than 10 gunmen were killed and several others were wounded. Whoa. Participant in the White Helmets massacre? Oh, what is this? Today, Russian armed forces hit terrorist cave in Kafaram and White Helmets filming as saving civilians, but clearly can be seen its cave in which was killed terrorist media guy. Good. Writing in that sentence. I understand everything. White Helmets were deliberately targeted by Russian and Assad's troops in so-called double-tap attacks, and they've been targeted aggressively by pro-Russian and pro-al-Assad propagandists like Vanessa Beeley. White Helmets called divers because the girl was drowning in a pool not deeper than 2 meters. What? What the hell? Zok also denied the use of chemical weapons against civilians, a fact that has been confirmed by several reports. What's Opetsuba? Wasn't it am I hallucinating this? When I was reading about Surovikin, did I not read that these were confirmed attacks? His account started growing quickly after Russia launched their full-scale invasion on Ukraine in February 2022. Most of his posts are videos from the front lines, usually coming from a Russian perspective. What air defense doing? Bro. Like Tolstoy, Lazo posts a lot of photos of about and probably dreams about Russian women visiting or working in the front lines. In one particularly disgusting incident, he posted a photo of a Ukrainian girl stating that she's Russian. Bro. Bro. His allegiance to the Kremlin is obvious from his posts, and he, for example, celebrated Wagner's capture of Bakhmut, a demolished city with only symbolic value. Like Naumova, Lazo also seems to be simping the Russian neo-Nazi Molchakov. Great. Lazo seems to be a Wagner fanboy, and he was part of the group that was skeptical about Prigozhin's mutiny, stating he'd never threatened Putin. Hey, by the way, we need to talk about Girkin. He also urged Putin to buy the new Shahed 149, the Iranian drone used to attack civilian targets in Ukraine. He also spread a lie about Ukraine requesting blood from NATO, claiming that the blood was infected with HIV and hepatitis B and C. His claims were later fact-checked, which made Lazo a happy man. He even asked for more articles that mention him. Great. After Schiit militia abducted Israeli researcher, Zoka made fun of her situation, hinting that she might have been raped by her captors. He also celebrated the death of US Marines, only hoping there would have been more casualties. An edgy little boy, an edgy little Bosnian boy. He spreads disinformation benefiting Russia's genocidal war, but at the same time, he's a thirsty young man and mama's boy who spends a lot of time with his parents. This doesn't make his message any less damaging. Aww. Bro. Oh shit, they got his private pictures. Give me a sec. Malim! Ei, agora! Check dodge. Oh, 175,000 followers. What? Oh, I actually have a hunch that these rather radical ideas in support of totalitarian regimes might come from his father, who celebrated al-Assad's birthday together with Lazo. Holy shit. Hey, yo, bitch. When's your father doing cool shit like this? Imagine having this relationship with your parents. So actually, I don't know if that's like almost impressive. I don't know how to feel about that. Part of me is like, wow, that's a really, really strong connection. You both are being pieces of shit at the same time, celebrating a birthday of a fucking criminal? How interesting. What is this? Is China really helping Russia in suppressing Ukraine? In fact, the answer is probably the opposite. What? Who are you? One of major Ukraine war analysis bloggers in Taiwan? What? Many people shout every day that China is not secretly aiding Russia and is not good for Ukraine. But in reality, economic data points out that although China is very pro-Russian on the surface, China's economic help to Ukraine is no less than that of Poland and the US. Before the war, China has been Ukraine's largest trading partner since 2019. Even in 2021, China accounted for 20% of Ukraine's export trade. Huh. When the war broke out, China's trade dropped by more than 2/3, but it still amounted to $2.4 billion US, fourth largest share of Ukraine's exports. On the import side, Ukraine imported a lot of Chinese products, which played a very important role in stabilizing prices. Okay. If China was only interested in profit, it could have cut off its trade with Ukraine and switched to buying cheaper agricultural products from Brazil. In fact, when the war broke out and there was a shortage of Ukrainian produce, China did buy cheaper produce directly from Brazil. Therefore, China's trade with Ukraine is not due to domestic market demand, but is more about maintaining diplomatic relations. So they're trying to stay close to the West, and this is why they're doing this? If we take a closer look at the cooperation between China and Russia, we find that China is actually importing Russian products at half of the market price, which is not so much of a case of cooperation between China and Russia, but rather a case of China exploiting Russia. For Ukraine, China is willing to spend more money to buy food from Ukraine and is willing to negotiate a new food agreement with Russia to ensure trade with Ukraine. Okay, but when they giving some drone shit to Russia, I feel like they can't be forgotten just because of this. Yeah, that. Fuck yeah, I saw this today. I saw this. Bulletproof vest too. Yeah, shit. Dude, fucking cruel. Wait, let me play this. Just fucking cruel. Chinese AKs, really? Despite Beijing's call for peace, is pushing right up to a red line in delivering enough non-lethal but militarily useful equipment to Russia to have a material impact on President Vladimir Putin's 17-month-old war on Ukraine. Protective gear would be sufficient to equip many of the men mobilized by Russia since the invasion. Fuckers. It's the absolute fuckers. Well, let me do clicky on the links. Oh no. Luhansk. Aww. That is such a good song though. Bro. Bro. Sometimes I see these types of videos. Was that a witch, by the way? I think it was her. Because I was so happy. Yeah, that's her. That's her. She's amazing. Sometimes I look at these and I follow a couple of women in Ukrainian military. And bro, I don't know, sometimes I wonder if we got in a similar situation, if we would be, you know, having so many brave people around. Sometimes I'm like, dude, would I have the balls to do what they're doing? I don't know, they're so amazing. I have no idea. What a beautiful fucking nation. Yeah. No, it's coming. It's coming from the position of pure praise. I love them so much. Admiration, maybe a proper word to use. I've got no idea what it is, but they're amazing. Well, so I saw that shit's link up there, and I went up all the way to find it. The Insider recently spoke to a Russian woman who sold her virginity to Prigozhin. Who sent this? Valo. To protect her identity, we've agreed to refer to her only as Masha. That's kind of ironic, considering the fact Russians recently made up a little Masha. They were like, are you angry at little Masha? Little Masha was just a girl. Little Masha was just a baby little girl when Russia was invading. Are you angry at little Masha? Little Masha is a slut, that's what she is. Mercenary boss likes his girls on the younger side, but he also has an eccentric obsession with exchanging bodily fluids with virgins. He believes having sex with first-time partners prolongs his youth. Before his downfall and exile to Belarus, Prigozhin used to keep a rotating harem of very young girls in rented rooms at the Solo Sokos Hotel in St. Petersburg. He had sex without a condom. He believes that's how he exchanges energy fluids. It's as if he receives a charge of vitality from them. I wonder if he wore a wig. What was that image? I'm thinking of a very specific one. No. I need the one. I'm scared to scroll down too much. Okay, gonna go through the safer route and actually going on Twitter to find the specific image. But like unironically, imagine you sold your virginity to a man and he comes in the bedroom like this. Freak. I forgot to imagine him coming. Oh, bro, the images I have in my head right now. I did not consent to this. Can I just point out, in case any of you are forgetting, I did not consent to any of this. It's time to breed. It's time to exchange bodily fluids so I could get your vitality. Bitch. Justin Bieber, he was from fucking Tajikistan. Where's Prigozhin even from? We need to actually mock the place he's from. Where is he actually from? Do we know? What's his like country of origin? Does he have a specific republic that people are attacking, or is he just like OG? Talking about OG, did I save the post? Holy shit, X annoys me so much. I keep on looking for the Twitter and it's never there. But talking about OG Russians, Girkin's team specifically stated that the lawyer defending Girkin is pure-blooded Russian. And they had to let his community of fans know that he will not be defended by some dirty foreigner, by some dirty non-Russian person from the republics. He is actually going to be defended by a proper pure-blooded Russian. So he's an incest baby. I mean, he's Russian, so like you never know. It's like Alabama there just was. My man, if he had a Chechen defend him, holy shit, I feel like his community would just break apart. Talking about that, have you seen Navalny? Oh shit, I need to show you so many things. But Navalny has claimed that Girkin is a political prisoner and that he should be allowed to have a free and fair trial in Russia. And I'm actually like wondering about the opinions on this, because when I first read the thread, I was like, Navalny being a stupid little bitch. And then I was like, I see people posting about this, and they disagree with the idea that Navalny is being a stupid little bitch. So maybe I should analyze it further. But here's a problem. I don't know. I actually, unironically, I went to go and find definitions of a political prisoner, and it says that there's no clear definition. But political prisoner usually is a person who is put in prison because of their political or ideological views, which are trying to fundamentally change the power in the country, right? I don't know if Girkin falls there. I don't know if he does, I'm not sure. Because I see him as a tool of the regime, and I don't know if a tool of the regime can be a political prisoner of the mentioned regime, or if he is just, you know, like you're playing stupid games, you're winning stupid prizes. Are you really a political prisoner though? Because you're supportive of the way the regime is set up. You're not trying to change it. He's not trying to bring democracy, whatever. He wants to become a new dictator. So is he really challenging the way the power is being held in Russia? Or is he just challenging the dude in power so he could take the power from under him? But he doesn't really have anything against the way power is allocated itself. And fuck Navalny, that's it. Chechens, oh yeah, Chechens have this big problem that is, they are ideologically very blinded by bullshit, and because of this they can't look at the reality. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised by hearing that they're fucking cowards in the front line. They don't know what they're trying to fight for. They have no idea. When faced with actual danger, they probably just shit themselves on the spot. They don't know what they're supposed to be dying for. And which is kinda a situation that Kadyrov has created for them. They are dying for nothing. For Chechens, this war is not gonna bring anything good. The fact they're still too stupid to see that, even after Chechen wars have already happened, and Putin already built power on butchering Chechens. The fact they're still too stupid to see that kissing his ass is not going to give them anything. It's just, I don't know, sad, fucking depressing. I don't know how I feel about Chechens, my man. It's incredibly sad that they're going through this. I don't know who to blame apart from just Kadyrov people. Being part of an opposition to the regime who you're a prisoner of. Then the question is, like, was Girkin a opposition? Because I don't know if he was. But in the same way, I don't know why I would see him as not. Does that make sense? Like, because he is supportive of the way Russia is set up. He is supportive of Russian imperialism. He is supportive of doing a war. He's not supportive of the way that the government is doing the war, but he is supportive of the war itself. So is he proper opposition? Fuck Girkin too. Fuck all of them. Not a single one can give me an answer. Shit. And also I assume not many of them understand English in the first place. But no, it's messy. There's a video of what's his name? What's his stupid name? The propagandist. Fuck, I'm gonna think of it one day. He has Solovyov. He has this really stupid video in which he is speaking to these people on the reasons they have to fight, and most of it is like very religious anti-West bullshit. So you know, I wouldn't be surprised they're imbeciles on the front line too, as much as they were in that one. They were literally cheering on them. They were cheering on Solovyov, being like, "Hey guys, you need to go and die, because if you don't go and die, your life is useless. I am so smart." I am so fucking smart. I'm gonna find it once. How does the regime see him? I think it sees him as planned opposition. Because the thing is, I think him and Prigozhin both, despite Prigozhin's planned coup, I think both of them are tools of the regime. I don't really think they're doing many things independently, you know? Like, Wagner would not be able to be Wagner if it wasn't getting as much cash money and funds from the Russian government itself. Wagner relies on Russians. I don't really know if Prigozhin would be okay with his people just going towards Moscow for nothing. But a part of me definitely is a conspiracy bro, and I believe that Russia is trying to get rid of prominent figures connected to this war internationally. Like the first people you think of when you think of Russian media space, it feels like they're trying to get rid of those, which makes me think they may be in some deep shit and they're trying to blame some of them for the war starting. Like, I wonder if we're going to be seeing good situation on the front line these days, and lots of Russians are going to get vaporized, and then Putin is going to be like, oh, well, guys, I never really wanted this war. It's just that Girkin invaded in 2014. Girkin and his people, they crossed over to Crimea, and they invaded Ukraine. So, you know, I had to. I didn't want to. I, Putin, am a prisoner of the regime just as much as you are. So, you know, I'm not too hopeful on any of these. Wait, did Vlad have something new? I need to show you that. Consequences? Oh, new. Oh shit, new thing. A new thing you have not seen on Top Sense. Nice. Fucking based. Thank you, Vlad.
Pleasure to be with you. And we're going to do a bit of a theme and variations and touch on a few bits.
How am I doing? Religious-based violence. You go to a war, you expect to get shot or exploded or run over by a tank, but instead some dude slaps you with a book.
Kind of random in how I scroll through that. So if you wrote something 7 months ago to me, there's still a good chance I'm gonna fish you out and answer.
Based.
On the four
That's what I do too.
F-16s to Ukraine, what's your view? How did Russian propagandists degenerate this badly? What about Russian bloggers who do lifestyle stuff and don't support the war but don't go on much about it either? And what about images of war and images of the loss of life that we see? How does that affect us? And
Volume? Is it quiet for you?
Go about watching it or avoiding
it actually is.
Before these questions,
is it okay now?
I want to say something about Mr.
He's
Navalny's
a quiet little man.
Today, or the intervention made on his behalf potentially, or possibly his.
Quiet little man with quiet little videos.
He or his Twitter account said that Mr. Girkin is a political prisoner.
Yeah, I'm interested in this.
Why did he say that? What is he trying to do?
Okay, here's spoilers. He said it because he wants Girkin's people to come support Navalny, because Navalny, what ultimately he wants is he wants to take Putin's position. He doesn't want to improve Putin's position. He doesn't want to improve the politics within Russia. Navalny wants to be Putin. Navalny wants to just replace Putin and do whatever he wants, just like Putin can be doing whatever he wants. In order to be able to get this, he needs, say, militant parts of Russian society in order to be able to, you know, actually take power away from Putin. The reason he is now cocksucking Girkin is because he wants Girkin's nationalist people to observe his existence. He wants Girkin's Angry Patriots Club to be like, Navalny exists. Navalny used to be on Russian marches. Maybe Navalny is a good person to represent. He has a strong team behind him. He won an Oscar. Every once in a while there's a trending trending X hashtag about him. Maybe we should be supporting Navalny because he is actually giving us a bit more chances than Girkin ever was. So Navalny is trying to get more attention onto his existence. I think that's what's happening. I don't know what else. I'm trying to guess which direction Vlad is going to take with this. But yeah, I feel it's about getting the angry patriots and everyone following the angry patriots to Navalny's side. And I'm feeling like that's the only thing. I don't know what else.
Is indeed him. We'll break that down. We'll get past the activist theatrics on Twitter, because if what Navalny said is actually good or terrible, it's not going to be good or terrible for the reasons that people who are ventilating about it on Twitter, for the reasons that they're pushing for. We'll look at why that's the case. But before, I want to start with a quote that I may have even shared with you a long time ago, but I came across it again and it struck me, from Gleb Pavlovsky in March 2022, so a few weeks after the war. And Mr. Pavlovsky was an insider who then became an outsider and a visceral critic of the regime, who could himself be reasonably criticized, but he had this unbelievable love of political
You could do a
process,
fundraiser with those.
analyses
I
of
feel
the
that would be cool.
extraordinary functionality and dysfunctionality of the Putin regime were always so illuminating. This is Pavlovsky.
Like that?
One reason for the war is that Putin felt he no longer had the support of his circle.
Okay.
The decisions being taken without him, that gradually control was shifting into the hands of that circle.
Okay.
And that the only solution he could find to this was military escalation. I'm not going to analyze or contextualize this properly, but let me just make a couple of observations quickly. First, the more somebody knows about Russia, the more they're likely to center the regime security story in explaining the war. And the less somebody knows about Russia, the more they're going to center the national security story in explaining the notice.
Based.
Right. Second observation, however we evaluate this, there is quite a bit of truth to it.
I feel there's a market for both.
And what we said
really
a few
good
weeks
market
after
for both.
the war, and some of the videos I think
I
on
would
the
get
main
the
channel,
clean
is that
ones, but you know.
in starting the war, Mr. Putin brought some of that control back into his own hands, but his grasp over it was really fragile. Let's do Mr. Navalny now. And I've got to apologize, I haven't slept last night for health
Can I just,
reasons,
by the
so
way, can I just
could confuse
comment
Mr. Navalny.
how cute it is that Vlad is like, he calls them Mr. He's always like, oh, Mr. Putin, Mr. Navalny, Mr. Girkin. And I find that to be really, really cute and really, really wholesome, because like in my head, it's like, oh, I have to refer to Putin. I'm going to call him a piece of shit. So it's like, hey, look, I want to talk about Putin, that piece of shit in Moscow. And instead, Vlad is there like, Mr. I feel like, I feel that's a really, really cute way to say these things. I need to steal his way of speaking. I need to do something like that.
With Mr. Putin and Mr.
I'm going to be referring
Prigozhin
to them
and
as
Mr.
S-men.
Prigozhin
I
with
feel like that could
Aristotle.
work.
But hopefully we'll get there. One of the weird things about my condition
noise.
is that systematic rest is actually more restorative than sleep itself. So it's not as
doing fundraisers alone could be great. I feel like it could work a lot.
Absolutely catastrophic. And for me, as a one-off, it isn't. So, but we could confuse Prigozhin with Aristotle. So, Navalny, or rather his Twitter profile, Girkin, a political prisoner. Here are my quick thoughts on why Navalny's account tweeted
it's
this.
like, I seem
and
softer.
What we should make of it. From now on, when I say Navalny,
And because he
I mean
seems softer.
plausibly Navalny, but possibly Navalny
Fair.
indirectly
His
or
words are
very
more likely to be
indirectly with
taken
the help of his
seriously.
team.
I see that. I see that.
Because I mean, we have had cases, again, plausibly, where Navalny said things that it seems unlikely that he's actually said himself. But here we're going to plausibly say that's could be him. So first, what did Navalny actually say? He said that Girkin has been legitimately sentenced by the Dutch court, but is illegitimately arrested in Russia, making him a political prisoner. Acknowledging the Dutch verdict, Navalny adds that on top of that, he wants an investigation in Russia, presumably in a future Russia. So why is he saying this? Because of course, Girkin has been arrested for political speech. But this intervention by Navalny is bound to seem strange to Western eyes, even if one looks beyond the theatrics on Twitter, the activist theatrics that, as we'll see in a moment, can't evaluate whether what Navalny said is good or bad because they aren't connected with what seems to be plausibly its intent. So what is going on?
Yugoslavia?
Navalny, or his Twitter account, is saying this to politicize the Russian space.
Yugoslavia?
This is not a
He was in Yugoslav army? He was in the war criminal gang? UNA? Wait, before the nation broke apart. Okay, that actually could mean anything. That could mean a lot of things. That could make him... Because we had... UNA was like Yugoslav National Army. It was the military of Yugoslavia. And then every single republic of Yugoslavia had their own military, which was a part of UNA, but not UNA itself. So I guess he could have been a part of UNA before we crumbled. Partially. Which is while everyone still was part of UNA if you were in any sort of military.
Moral intervention, demanding due process for a ghastly war criminal. It's politics. Navalny is trying to politicize, sorry if I was too quiet before, is trying to politicize the Russian space to get things moving. I'm going to throw in a little chink and then see if these inter-elite conflicts are exacerbated by my intervention, right? So that's politics.
That's throwing a brick. He's referring to a process known as throwing a brick.
Against the background of paralysis and depoliticization affecting some of the Russian opposition, any political act might seem welcome. This may be an idiotic attempt at politicization by Mr. Navalny, but that's what it is. Or is it? So when I say that's what it is, I don't think I'm making a professional judgment, and epistemically I think it's really important to emphasize that. I'm making a plausible interpretation, the real value of which is that it's very illuminating to make it, even if it's false, right?
Okay.
So why am I saying that it's not a professional judgment? Well, I'm saying that because there are journalists who have immediate access to Mr. Navalny's team, and they could ask who wrote this privately, what was the intent, right? That is not my expertise. So what I'm doing is that I'm making a very educated guess about what this is, but my real expertise comes in not in that assumption, but in the analysis of what then follows if that assumption is true.
Okay, I see that. I see that.
This may be an idiotic type of politicization, but that's what it is. So is it idiotic? Well, let me say two things. First, as Alexander Jokic pointed out before me on Twitter,
Jokic?
Girkin, and this is my word, this is my language, Girkin is not a victim separate from the regime. He was a parasite feeding on the regime, trying to tilt the regime in a certain direction. Come on, Mr.
See, like he's doing a thing right now where this is what I've said, but I've said it with 0 IQ words. But he says it and it sounds so much better. You know what I should be doing before the stream? I should be watching Vlad Vexler before the stream. to steal his words. I should steal the way he says this, because this was a smart way to say it. But yeah, this was my thing too. It's like he's just planned opposition at best, which means that he is working together with the regime. So I'm not sure if he could be called a political prisoner, because he is supportive of the way that power is held in Russia. He's not against it. He's not an actual opposition. He's just there to kind of poke a little bit. That's that. Letting off the steam, let's say it like that.
Militarize our society, militarize our economy faster, move from this sort of, pro-war to a pro-victory position. And Mr. Girkin competed for power, right, within these bizarre, conflicting networks that sprouted in and around the regime. So he's not an external victim. You can plausibly see Mr. Girkin being arrested as the regime eating itself up. And that is a kind of objection to Mr. Navalny's position.
Controlled
Mr.
opposition,
Navalny
yeah.
could then come back and say, well, I'm just trying to
For
shake things
Girkin,
up.
definitely.
My second point here is politicizing
Like
the
with
Russian
Navalny.
space is bloody hard. And most of the Russian opposition, I tragically argue, hope not permanently, but I tragically argue are not doing
Navalny very
that.
much feels the same.
We should not be surprised that the very few people who try it will be engaged in a hit and miss exercise. And quite frankly,
Okay.
it's going to be an exercise
see what
of
he means.
19 misses and 1 hit. So what this means is that until we know more, it makes sense to assess this as a politicizing gambit, which is why all of the theatrical Twitter ventilation, how dare Mr. Navalny say that Mr. Girkin is a war criminal, much of that actually misrepresents Mr. Navalny's immediate concession that the sentence Girkin got in the Dutch court is legitimate, according to Mr. Navalny. But then Mr. Navalny complicates the waters by saying he needs a second Russian investigation, right, on top of Girkin already having been given the verdict in the Netherlands. So this seems domestically aimed. This seems aimed at politicizing the Russian space, and that's why objecting to it in these sort of self-congratulatory moral terms is of course understandable, because Ukrainian folks in the information environment may need to do that. They might think that serves their interests. That's a longer conversation, but that's where we won't go now. But for us, we've got to see it as an attempt at politics, possibly an absolutely dreadfully bad one, but one nevertheless. And this is why I'm pushing this distinction so hard with you, right? Don't interpret apolitically a political gesture. Why am I saying this? Now, this is not because
Girkin is a
we
cucumber,
first and
but also a
foremost care
dick.
about what happens in the Russian space. We care, because it affects global security, it affects Ukraine's security, it affects the security of Russia's neighbors. And we're not saying that because we care how Ukrainians talk about the Russian opposition. We care about that too, but that's not us. We're very deeply compassionate to Ukraine's cause, but we start with the understanding that we've got to keep our democracies, and unless we do that, nothing is possible. And if we
Okay.
engage in depoliticized thinking, even if it is about a conflict that's not immediately on the territory of our countries, we are cultivating a depoliticized way of engaging that could contribute to us sleepwalking through threats to our democracy, crises our democracy be going through, when we in fact need to not sleepwalk but be wide awake so that we can react. That's part of
Woke.
the reason my channels exist.
Vlad
To
Voxler.
prep us for that scenario as eyes wide open type of citizens. Questions? Vlad, you haven't expressed your views about the F-16s being given to Ukraine. Do you have a view about how much this changes? I do have a view that this doesn't change
Enough.
as much as it changes. It doesn't change the basic parameters of the equation that I recommend, which is that the West is committed to Ukrainian independence, but not committed to a Ukrainian victory. It's committed to Ukrainian independence plus, as I put it.
Okay.
Military aviation is not something I can comment on. I used to be obsessed with it as a small kid when I lived in Israel for a few years, and I remember thinking a lot about the F-16 in the early 90s. Then I
Cucumber
got
badge.
Obviously, there are going to be questions about what the tech and
What's
what
up
the
with that
avionics
man?
will
He
be
was really
inside
popular
these
for a
things.
while.
This is a machine from the 70s.
And now
that's
he's gone.
Through an enormous number of iterations, and the more modern the version that Ukraine gets, the better. But that basic equation doesn't change. The F-16 does not mean that Ukraine is being put in a position to win. Just doesn't mean that.
Okay.
Can you explain the mentality of Russian propagandists?
He was really popular
wasn't
on
always like this.
Tumblr.
So, one question is, how did they get here? And the other question is, what kind of state are they in now? Are they saying what they're saying because they mean it or because it pays?
Okay, fair.
And I think very often with such questions, a good answer is they mean it because it pays, right? So it's advantage generated sincerity, right? And we've had many conversations about the structure of this, right? When we've talked about algorithmic and audience capture drift on YouTube. Well, this is on a much bigger scale when you deal with these Russian propagandists. In terms of how they got into it, certainly
10
with
movies
Solovyov,
upcoming?
who anyway has less sincerity now even than the other propagandists. I mean, he could be bought off very easily. If he were given a big check and some kind of security guarantee, he could start broadcasting about how we need a Ukrainian victory. It's not inconceivable.
Okay.
But somebody like him comes in with much more mercantilist aspirations and power aspirations and career aspirations, and not that much sincerity. He's probably got a bit more sincerity now, but of course what any good philosopher would say is that sincerity is not a guarantee of authenticity.
What do you mean of that?
And then a couple of people have asked me a question about,
What does that mean?
I think a chat that Anna did about...
Wait, wasn't there... Who? Wasn't there a way for experienced Western pilots to join Ukrainian military and then to actually fly the jets? Because I'm pretty sure that was happening. So they do have a way to apply, it's just that the main brunt of the force is still going to be Ukrainians mostly. It's not like we can conscript our pilots to go there, you know? We can be like, hey, if you want to go, if you want to help, you can go, sure. But we can't tell them to go. And because we can't tell them to go, it's not like we can get enough Westerners to be flying. So it's mostly going to be, you know, Ukrainians who will be trained in flying, plus volunteers from the West, whoever wants to be volunteering. Russian troops on the defensive. in wait, where are you talking about? Some new fresh news or new fresh news? Because nah, even if they're shit, they need to be given to us. Even if they're shit, give shit equipment too. Give everything. Like compared to Soviet equipment, I very much doubt anything is really shit. So whatever can be given should be given, even if it's not the best, most modern equipment. It should be given.
Russian vloggers who vlog about lifestyle, who don't support the war but don't deeply engage with the war. And can I comment on this? And I'm not sure I can, except at a distance. But maybe I can give a version of an answer.
Okay, I'm interested.
So, I mean, to understand some of the vloggers, you need to first of all grasp the deep depoliticization of Russian society, but also the paralysis that is palpable in a lot of these circles. There's a kind of paralysis, a kind of immobility among a lot of Russians, Russians who are out of Russia, and they've still not quite got everywhere they need to get. You can make of that what you want. I can talk you through more of my analysis of these processes for them.
Mine's the cause. Yeah, that's what Ukraine is clearing out right now.
Because what's the professional responsibility of a vlogger? Well, it depends on what kind of a vlogger they are, and if they're a professional at all. So there's also a risk here that we're going to be talking about, Ricky, Bobby, and Harry. Well, what's the significance of that? So Bobby's not doing a good job with his flip phone videos. Well, but I think where this becomes a much more generalizable matter is when you get to distinct professional responsibility, and that's when you get to professional filmmakers who are filmmakers who are self-consciously more than just entertainers. It doesn't mean they have to be artists. It means they have to have something more than just entertainment to their project, perhaps some kind of a social conscience or some kind of a seriousness. And these could be documentary makers, these could be feature filmmakers.
I don't know, man. I would be happy to get anything.
Here, my instinct, and people much better placed to judge than me.
Any aid is going to help save lives.
Like
so whatever it is,
Russian filmmaker Vitaly
give.
Mansky,
Old aid, give. New aid, give.
Who's made films about Gorbachev.
If it can be used properly, if it's in proper state.
His sense is
much better than nothing.
There are some blocks and pathologies going on.
Tomahawks, by all means.
We don't support the war, and the best thing we can do is just to sort of stand aside and engage with some issues about how life in this village is like this, and how Ivan is working through with his divorce and his alcoholism and so on. So there's a kind of an absence of the war as something that structures the background. There are issues that arise there of professional responsibility.
Okay. I see that.
Are live images, and several people ask this, are live images of the war bad for us? And what harm could they do?
Live, like videos? Live images? What's a live image? That's a video.
Well, you know that on a personal level, I'm very big on all of you emphasizing buffers, right? Not exposing yourself to stuff that's going to be bad, right? Like, it's going to be eaten, too much junk food, too much poisonous food. So you want to be careful about what you put in your body.
Okay, that's good.
There's a promiscuousness and a kind of gamification of sort of loss of life and death, of course.
Designed by a bunch of idiots.
And
hey, why?
that leads to the question
Fucking
more
cruel.
directly, which is, what should one do when content one is faced with, or when one subscribes to, follows, is giving one images of human beings losing their life?
Okay.
And my advice here, of course, is 2 levels. Number 1, mental health first.
Okay.
Really. So buffer, self-protect according to your personal needs. Everybody's needs are different. What's easy for you could be difficult for somebody else, and the other way around.
Okay.
Second, a formula that I am enthusiastic about is actually that what you should try to avoid is not seeing it, but seeing it with a level of casualness and a level of consumerism, if you like, which irreversibly depletes the dignity, right, of the human loss of life. So to put it kind of cartoonishly, you know, if you've seen...
I mean, I love Vlad. Holy shit, sorry. It feels so dishonest watching this man. I love him to death, okay? And he brings a very humane, very, I want to say properly political view to this. And because of that, I truly do respect him. But like, I'm listening to him say this, and I'm remembering that few days ago, someone made a joke at me, and the joke was about how Russians live in my head rent-free. And I said that they don't live in my head rent-free, because whenever I remember they exist, I go and donate to one of the causes, mostly the drone-given causes, because the drone ones are very important lately. So they don't live in my head rent-free because they pay every time I see a video of them getting blown up. That's them paying rent to live in my head. And then I'm watching Vlad be like this, and I'm like... like, I see what he is saying, and I love him so much for that. It just feels like we're coming from very different places of existence on this, and it's beautiful to hear his opinion. I just feel like I'm lying to myself when I watch this. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm lying to myself.
17 videos that you maybe should have seen, maybe shouldn't have seen, but you could just consumed them. Think about looking at Goya's The Disasters of War, or Picasso's Guernica, to reconnect you with the three-dimensionality of the event of a death. So funnily enough, I'm not saying don't engage, I'm actually saying don't engage, or engage properly, but try to minimize the consumerist, promiscuous relationship. And that's hard, of course, also for any society that lives through a war.
It isn't taking it casually necessarily.
Brutal war in Ukraine.
That's true, now that I think about
Ukraine
it.
has to face this sort of
It is being a bit
routinization
consumerist,
of the loss of
isn't
life.
it? Like, I give
So
money
this is
for
my couple of
drones,
cents. I'm so grateful you've
and in
you've
return I
held it
get
there with me.
Russians
even though this has
blowing
been a
up.
bit
Not
rambling,
necessarily in the video, it just happens,
lots
and
of
I'm happy
love
that my
and
donation
prophecy.
helped. Is that not being consumerist? Because, like, there's a part of me, like, with the Kerch Bridge being destroyed, there was a part of me which was like, maybe I contributed to this. Because we had a fundraiser, the NAFA one. I don't know if that was the NAFA one, or if the NAFA one went to something else. But there was a NAFA fundraiser that people joked about is going to be used to destroy the Kerch Bridge. And then the Kerch Bridge explosion happened. And a part of me was like, yeah, nice. Is that what he would... like, I don't know if that's... how he would explain what looking at it casually is. I wonder about the layers. It feels like there could be a very important conversation to be had about, you know, reasons that people do donations, and also responses that people have to these videos. I feel like you could have a really interesting conversation with the man on it, in which you could explain him your feelings when you watch these videos, and then he could analyze them, and it would just be very informative, truly. You see, the whole thing is a sport or game, not a serious war that needs to be won by Ukraine to save the world from more of this. Oh, like that, like that. I could be that too, yeah. I could see that, yeah. Like people making dumbass jokes and everything about it. Not doing anything to help, just kind of like picking a side and then choose, you know, using it in a way to gain views and to gain attention, and without acknowledging the more serious parts of these. I can understand that. Everyone is orcs. Everyone is an orc. Just orcs everywhere.
Почався. Я хотів сказати якось незвичайно, але ні, це вже звично.
Друзья, очередная атака у нас с дронов на Москву. Это не последний раз в любом случае.
І москвичам у цьому випадку точно не варто ні за що переживати, тому що, по-перше, це усе папун, а по-друге, це всього лише громкі звуки.
Раздался громкий звук.
I don't really think that feels like a stupid thing to write. I don't think anyone's condemning. What do you mean? You tell me who's trying to rule the world? What? That's such a weird. Who was talking about anyone trying to rule the world? Also, how do you think these bases came to be? These over 2,000 bases. How do you think they came to existence? What are you talking about? That is such a stupid thing to say.
Проте гучні звуки у Москві – це абсолютно ніщо у порівнянні із гучними
It's such a weird thing. Actually, no. You know what? No, we're not going to come back to Shtenenko. We're going to talk about this. You know what I find to be a problem? Thompson recently got really, really angry about this too. I was like, yeah, my man, based. He was talking to someone. It was a completely different topic. It was it USA? Why USA is bad? I think it was why USA is bad. And basically, as part of this topic, Thompson was like, nah, USA is actually really, really good. And the dude in chat was like, nah, USA horrible. No, the West horrible, the West horrible. So Thompson goes, why is the West horrible? And the dude couldn't answer it properly. He gave one answer, which is like, we are too individualistic, which means nothing. Unironically means nothing. And I remember him getting really, really angry because people can't answer very specific questions, right? I had the same conversation with a local recently. It was on Ukraine, defending itself from the invasion. And as one part of the conversation, he goes, oh yeah, what about Victoria Nuland? And I'm like, what about her? And he's like, oh yeah, well, she played a huge part in organizing Maidan. And I'm like, okay, what's your evidence for that? He goes, the phone call. I ask him who she supported in the phone call. He doesn't know. I feel there's some real annoying thing about people picking their positions based on vibes that they like and wanting to be contrarian. I think you don't do enough analysis of your own opinions. And I think it's because of that the message up there was written, which is like, one side has one base and the other side has over 2,000, so now you tell me who's trying to rule the world. It's such a vague, stupid comment to write. Like, do you think people are condemning Russia for trying to rule the world? No, people are condemning Russia for a very specific reason, which is them doing a genocidal invasion on their neighboring country. They did ethnic cleansing of Georgia back in 2008. They killed Chechens back in 2000s. Both of these should have been condemned. They weren't. Now they're killing Ukrainians. We are rightfully condemning them for doing so. And you think we're condemning them for something as vague as wanting to rule the world? And then you also complain it to Russia, to Russia having like one base, USA having 2,000, when USA bases were approved by countries wanting to have them in. It's a silly little conversation that you're trying to start because the only thing you know are these very, very vague talking points. You don't really know what you're thinking or believing. You don't know what your position stands on. You just have these vague little bullshit points around. That's it. I am ignoring everything you're saying because you're trying to switch the topics on me, and I don't do that in my chat. You want to talk about bases? We talk about fucking bases. Why does USA have 2,000 bases around the world? I'm not switching topics with you, okay? I already had a conversation today with one fucker who was constantly switching the topics. I'm not doing it again. Soviet crimes, holy shit, yeah, that's two fuckers. That's two. Production lines? Oh, aircraft. Okay. USA bad so Russia can do genocide? Yeah, that too, like... Oh no, it's such a USA-centered worldview. It just pisses me off. But also, isn't it expected from Russians? I was thinking about that. It's kind of expected because these fuckers genuinely are stupid enough to think they are a superpower. So they genuinely think that if the power was, if only the main players are what matters in this world, they genuinely think that they and USA are the main players. Ironically, they believe in that. So for them, when they do the USA exceptionalism, they're doing it because they see them and USA as the only countries with agency. Like from their position. It almost makes sense because they see themselves as equal. Oh yeah, Topson would deal with you nicely. You don't hate Russia, you're saying very stupid things. You're saying very, very stupid things. You don't hate Russia. You're just a dumb little person. That's all you are. If you were truly hating on Russia, you wouldn't be writing that stupid shit like your first message was. Go lick some cuts up balls. Bro, slippers. I thought it was so funny. What was that message you wrote in Discord? But Grisha. Fuck, I need to find it. The one Katsap Yebani thought he had any influence on the internet. Bro. Overthrowing democratically elected governments to replace them with their own puppets to expand economically and politically. So what, that's your reason to make excuses for Russia? The fact that USA is doing bad things? But I've never defended the USA when it comes to CIA regime changes. None of this is new facts for us. Maybe Google why did I grow sentience only now and not when I was a fucking child, because if I did grow sentience at the time, I would have known all of these things already. I can assure you no person in the world is going to be like, CIA did regime changes? Impossible. Literally no one is surprised by that. You did excuse Russia. Your first message was literally excusing Russia. It was unironically excusing Russia. Google Molotov. No, but like unironically making up these stupid little conversations about Russia inherently is excusing it, watering down Russian invasion of Ukraine to which side wants to rule the world. Oh, Russia is just doing a military operation on its own border. Stuff like that. That is excusing them. Having stupid moronic takes on this is excusing Russia. Yeah. But also, like, I don't really give too much shit about USA. So, you know, if you want to have a deep conversation with Russians about USA, go to find some of USA streamers. There's millions of them around. USA bad, yeah, USA bad. Surprise, surprise. Very surprisingly, isn't it? If Russia uses a nuke in Ukraine and you decide in that moment to criticize Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombs, I feel like many of them unironically would. There's this thing. See, like, how do you do that Russia bad, USA worse? How do you write that without seeing how stupid that is? Do you not see how childish that is? Do you not see how high school that thing is? They're already doing this? Fuckers. Just fuckers. I don't know, this whole thing with like needing to have a pyramid of evil and then to figure out which part of the pyramid of evil, which country is taken, the whole thing is like rather childish. You can just condemn horrible actions without always needing to have this sort of a comparison where you're like, oh yeah, this action is horrible, but this other action, oh, this war crime is horrible, but this other war crime, why do you feel the need to do that? That is so cheap. That is so stupid. America, I've got no idea, my dude. I know on a genocidal rhetoric basis, I don't know if they did something like that. Yeah. Because like Russia, I think Russia is rather unique when it comes to this, because they do use genocidal rhetoric alongside it, right? So it's not a situation in which the casualties come mostly from one side. It's a situation in which Russians are openly saying they want to eradicate Ukrainians. You know, it's a relatively unique situation. Because realistically, I don't believe we've seen USA officials say that they want to eradicate Kurds, for example, which would make it what's the word? That would make it genocidal rhetoric, right? USA bad, yeah, USA bad indeed. Yeah, so I'm not, you know, I think when it comes to that, surely Russia would be very, very specific on it. But when it comes to anything else, I don't know why you would be using USA crime, why you would be constantly bringing up USA in conversations in the first place, but also why you would be using their crimes to try and justify the crimes of other nations. It's such a cheap, stupid, this is just, it's a conversation that I feel like I could be salty about forever, because it reminds me of leftist streamers, some specific ones, saying that, oh, they're against dehumanizing people, you know, they're against dehumanizing people. We need to have politics which put people first, humans first, nations first, right? And then because of this, they're refusing to condemn Russia's crimes. And then these types of people at the same fucking time, they will do this thing with pretending like Russia doesn't deserve to be punished for what it's doing to Ukrainians, because previously other victims of other crimes were not treated harshly enough, which is such a stupid position to take. Like, the least I would expect of them to do is to be like, yes, Ukrainians are victims, and so are many other nations, and they all need to be given attention. We need to speak about all of them, right? We need to give justice to all of them. But this thing was like, oh yeah, there are so many victims, so let's try to take attention away from one of them and let's try to minimize their suffering in order to bring someone else into the conversation. But then we don't even care about that someone else because we're going to be minimizing their suffering for someone else's. I don't know, it's all just so cheap and so vile and so disgusting. If US allowed, why not Russia? So many of these Russia haters are ignorant USA supporters. Yeah, then go speak to ignorant USA supporters. Because people here don't support USA. It's just you coming in here to jerk off over your hatred of USA to pretend you are better morally. No one's literally talking about USA. No one was defending USA. No one was cocksucking USA. It wasn't even a point of the conversation. You're the only one here talking about USA. You're the only person here in which head USA lives constantly. No one's defending USA crimes. Motherfuckers are committed war crimes or imprisoned, stripped off rank and are rotting in a fucking federal prison. Fucking based. Fucking based. For your interest on their own, both. More the latter. It's still both. You can't possibly find a metric by which to measure this. It's still both. Trading with USA improves our economies greatly. It is in our interest to do so too. We absolutely do benefit from it. You said it before too, and you haven't left, so.
Цій території.
Ми лечимо цю територію від нацизму.
І про ось отакі специфічні лікувальні процедури, а також про погрози так званої Росії та Лукашенка у бік Польщі буду сьогодні з вами говорити, але знову ж таки тільки із тими, хто вже підписався на мій канал. Тому не зволікайте і підписуйтесь просто зараз. І, звісно, натисніть лайк до цього відео та залиште під ним будь-який коментар. Почнемо із ранкової атаки на Москву.
Утром 24 июля пресечена попытка киевского режима осуществить террористическую атаку.
Right now, doing ethnic cleansing. It is absolutely not insignificant that Russia is right now doing ethnic cleansing. What do you mean mass murders, blah blah blah? By the way, that is such a stupid comment to write, and the fact that you even dare to pretend to be moral while writing shit like that is laughable. Are you talking about Wagner in Africa? USA sanctioned several, was it Mali leaders? Because they worked together with Wagner. See, you like talking about USA so much. It's so annoying. It's so fucking annoying. Such a sad little worthless life you have. Left yesterday because there were like 5 people in chat jerking to America bad rhetoric. Oh, it was interesting. It was interesting. No, I think when it comes to USA, I do think there's value in acknowledging war crimes that USA did. There's value in acknowledging regime changes they did and the harm that they brought with these regime changes they either did or attempted to do. At the same time, how to say it? A lot of the times this is used to discourage conversations about other crimes done by other nations, most of them nations that, a person in question supports, in this case, Russia. So I'm not seeing a value in the conversation, to be honest.
I'm not really seeing value in that conversation. USA, and I don't see it as exceptionally bad. Unironically, I don't see it as exceptionally bad. For all the power it has, it's existing. You know what I mean? It's existing. There's things to criticize. There's things that they did that were proper. So it's like both. Did this like USA during the Bush junior years? I could have that. Somalia just suffered a massive suicide bombing. Shit. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Do we know the why? Who? Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking to you about though. The sheer need to put someone on a bad worse scale, it proves that you're watching this from a very high school point of view. There's no need for you to build a pyramid of who's better and who's worse, and then to have to place war criminals on it. You can just say that there's vile things done and you can condemn these vile things, and then at the same time you can be supporting the victims. There's absolutely no reason to do this whole thing with like, hey guys, do you want to talk about USA though? It's fucking boring.
Міністерство
boring
війни
conversation,
так званої
switching to
Росії
this.
повідомило, що російську столицю сьогодні приблизно о
So-called
4:30 ранку намагалися атакувати два невідомих безпілотники, але їх посадили і ніякої шкоди вони не завдали. Проте ця заява, м'яко кажучи, із реальністю не збігається.
БПЛА, прикиньте. Я же сказал, взорвется.
Hey yo, DB, how's life?
Один із дронів
Making
влетів
food
у
for Thompson?
будівлю військового оркестру Міністерства оборони так званої Росії.
На Комсомольском проспекте обломки обнаружены у дома 17.
Другий безпілотник влетів у будівлю бізнес-центру, який розташований прямо навпроти управління ГРУ.
Другой попал в здание бизнес-центра на проспекте Лихачева.
Але от про один об'єкт росіяни чомусь взагалі нічого не повідомляють. Хоча
some
є
reason.
фото, на якому видно задимлення біля будівлі Міністерства оборони так званої Росії.
Do you feel like I feel they didn't report anything at all because their air defense was worthless?
Наслідки поки що невідомі. На жаль, серйозних руйнувань наче як немає. Але
What
це
do
я
you mean by
впевнений
I'm
поки
making
що.
actual
І самі
food?
росіяни розповідають про те, що було вчинено терористичну атаку. Теракт не інакше.
Попытка киевского режима осуществить террористическую атаку.
І ви не переплутайте, коли дрони летять у військові об'єкти у Москві, то це 100% теракти. А коли росіяни ракетою б'ють по собору в Одесі і закликають Одесу
Kind of funny because like I don't know how many of you people are Europeans, but like my grandmother appeared in my dreams last night. She would absolutely be like USA fucking based, which they bombed Belgrade sooner. Grandfather, he would be the same. I feel like most of my family actually would have, most of my relatively long dead relatives, they would be like USA fucking based. Probably not the Serb side, but the side that was actually invaded and actually suffered the invasion, they would be like USA based. I hope they're doing well.
знищити, то це точно не тероризм.
Starship Enterprise replicated generated food. Oh shit, now I wish there was like MREs, but for games. How based would that be?
У Москві були набагато більшими, але, друзі,
imagine there was Mass Effect
зачекайте,
MRE.
усьому свій час. А поки давайте
Someone
поговоримо
needs
про
to start a company
тимчасово
making
окупований
those.
Крим. Точніше,
Can we
про
do
те,
those? Can we
як
start
там
a company?
вибухають склади із боєприпасами протягом останніх днів.
That would be
Ось це
fucking
відео
great.
було знято дні, по-моєму, 4 чи 5 тому.
Полуостров Крым, это, пожалуй, с точки зрения противовоздушной
Don't remember when
обороны
USA
и
mass
степени
met my people last
насыщенности
time.
средствами РЭП
Remember when
самый
Russia did?
эффективно
Yeah, it's like,
защищенный регион Российской Федерации.
what are you doing with USA bad rhetoric when Russia
Вже
is
після того раптово у
actively
тимчасово
killing people
окупованому
close to us? Come
Криму
on.
вибухнув іще один склад із боєприпасами росіян. Навіть Владімір Путін звернув увагу на демілітаризацію російської армії у тимчасово окупованому Криму та наказав Аксьонову Крим прикрити вжити усіх потрібних
Can we all
заходів.
just like come to Dobson's and just chill there? He has a huge apartment. There's place for like sleeping
Проте у
bags.
Криму штормова погода, і сьогодні знову було знищено великий склад із боєприпасами російських загарбників у тимчасово окупованому Криму.
Это что такое?
Російські пропагандисти кажуть, що атака була комбінованою. Спочатку полетіли безпілотники, а після того прилетіли 4 ракети Storm Shadow.
I don't think the war can last for decades.
Удари у тимчасово окупованому
I
Криму
don't think
мають на
the war
меті
can
не
last
тільки
for decades. It
позбавити
can't be
росіян
decades away.
непотрібних їм складів
It's
із
either
боєприпасами,
few
а й
years away
перерізати
from liberating it or
логістику. А
few
із
years away from
логістикою
losing
у них
it.
там біда, особливо після
But
попередньої
I
атаки
don't
на
think
Кримський
it's
міст.
decades away
Росіяни
from anything when it comes to this war
використовують
lasting.
для забезпечення свого південного угруповання військ
The war can't
Кримську
last for as long.
залізницю. І основна частина техніки і боєприпасів йде саме через окупований Крим, бо прямого залізничного сполучення
winter that
між
would be
Донецькою
fucking
областю і її окупованою частиною і
That would be
окупованою
fucking
частиною
great.
Запорізької області у росіян немає. Частина тієї залізниці знаходиться під
lost
нашим
your rating
вогневим
ability?
контролем. І
Did
ще
he-
після
did
таких
he
атак,
ban
як
me?
сьогодні, росіяни
40 years? They
змушені
can't
зупиняти
last for
рух
40 years.
залізницею у
Neither side
тимчасово
can last for
окупованому
40
Криму.
years.
І це дуже добре, тому що проблем із забезпеченням їхніх військ у тимчасово окупованій
That would
частині
be-
Запорізької та
I don't
Херсонської
wanna say
областей
impressive
буде
because it's not
більше
a right
та
word to
більше.
use, but
Навіть
like-
російські пропагандисти вже здогадуються, що
Bro, they
саме
can't use.
відбувається, і
Not
кричать,
that-
що
they don't have
російська
men, they don't
армія
have
може
equipment, it can't
опинитися
last
в
that
дуже
long.
поганому становищі. Натомість, поки ми виносимо російську логістику та склади із боєприпасами,
Oh, yeah,
самі
I am like,
росіяни продовжують завдавати ударів по портовій
without
інфраструктурі
rating?
та
No, I
палити
did a raid.
українське
Ah,
зерно,
yeah, some
як
of you people
сьогодні
weren't
на
carried over.
Одещині
Ha,
вночі.
you losers.
Від російських ударів
Some of you
прозрівають
people
вже
weren't
навіть
carried
окремі
over.
представники УПЦ МП, які роками були лояльними
I
до
think
так
it's less
званої
about the
Росії.
expectations of how long a war is going to last and more about how much it can afford to last.
Строила вся Одесса. Спасибо вам,
Bro.
русские братья. Спасибо вам, ваше святейшество, что вы попали в самое сердце.
Немов знущаючись із представників УПЦ МП, Владімір Путін після російського ракетного удару по собору, який контролює УПЦ МП, пішов та показово
Piece of
поставив свічечку. Російська ж пропаганда дуже
Someone stick a
просто
candle in his
пояснює
ass.
ракетний удар по собору. Насправді, удару
3 to 5
як
years,
такого
3
не
to 5
було,
years
та й
seems more
собор ніколи не
possible.
існував. Це усе
Still a bit
вигадала українська пропаганда.
То, что
Possible.
произошло с собором в Одессе, ну, на мой взгляд, это абсолютно глупая, слепленная очень на скоряк информационно-психологическая операция, скорее больше провокация.
А щодо Владіміра Путіна, то він учора зустрічався у Москві з Лукашенком, який, ви не повірите,
Why do some people not get carried over? That is so weird.
Специально привез вам карту о переброске вооруженных сил Польши.
Владімір Путін так сильно поспішав на зустрічі з Лукашенком, що навіть не помітив, як у себе у бункері на швидку руч вдягнув не свої, а дитячі штанці.
За этим то, что вам было сказано. Западная Польша. Кусок.
Тим паче поспішати було заради чого. Лукашенко влаштував черговий стендап.
Они хотят оттяпать Западную Украину и присоединить к Польше.
А сегодня, когда Зеленский в шаге от сдачи Западной Украины Польши...
Взагалі Лукашенко останнім часом намагається якомога більше тішити Владіміра Путіна досить дивними заявами.
А денег ж просто так не дают.
Які тільки пригоди, за його словами, із ним не трапляються. То йому трупи підкидують.
От подбрасывания трупов до
Maybe what I will last.
А то він дізнається, що
I
Польща
was
планує
actually, I made a
напасти на
joke
Україну,
today.
або навпаки,
At the
Україна
start of the
планує
stream
напасти на
about
Польщу, чи
X-videos.
навіть із Чехії прийдуть
About how I'm going
найманці
to try to
і
Google
нападуть на
Twitter
Лукашенка.
videos, but I'm going to Google X videos, and then I'm going to get like a bunch of videos of gaping assholes. And then I was like, are people going
Але
to say
такі
it's kind of
заяви це не
weird? That's the
випадковість,
first
тому
thing
що зараз
I think
триває...
of when I think about
Бачите, я
porn.
записую відео, навіть коли сусіди довбають. Так ось, зараз триває інформаційна кампанія так званої
Correct?
Росії проти
Yeah, I think they can be
Польщі.
starved
Навіть
out.
он
3 to 5
депутат
years though would
Госдуми
be,
Картополов
I think,
погрожував
okay.
полякам.
Есть такой
Of a timeline?
коридор. Ну,
But yeah, I think the most likely outcome is Kerch gets destroyed, rail lines get
Власне,
cut off,
Лукашенко
you starve
підігрує
out
у цьому
Крим.
плані росіянам
Крим,
та
she goes,
розповідає
Крим.
казочки про те, що вже і вагнерівці збираються напасти на Польщу.
Нас начали напрягать вагнеровцы. Просятся на Запад, разрешите нам. Я говорю, вам зачем на Запад туда? Ну, и втихую мы же контролируем, что происходит. Ну, сходим на экскурсию в Варшаву и Жешув.
Погрожує
Let
полякам і
them, bitch.
особисто
Let them.
Владимир Путін. І ці погрози абсолютно такі ж, як ті, що лунали у бік України до повномасштабного вторгнення.
Западные территории нынешней Польши – это подарок Сталина полякам.
Це ж було вже.
Украина имени Владимира Ильича
Can they
Ленина.
resupply
Наши
enough?
друзья в Варшаве подзабыли об этом. Ми напомнимо.
Я не думаю, що станом на зараз є якась серйозна загроза з боку так званої Росії або Білорусі проти Польщі. Хоча бути, звісно, може усе що завгодно. Я припускаю, що усі оці заяви, усі оці погрози – це лише спроба залякати Польщу, щоби та припинила допомагати Україні. Як озброєннями, так і логістикою. Але у росіян точно нічого не вдасться. Навпаки, вони іще більше згуртують наших союзників на допомогу Україні. Але й ми, громадяни України, продовжуємо робити своє. Завдяки вашим регулярним донатам на військо ми у кілька підрозділів за їхніми запитами передали транспорт, зарядну станцію та безпілотники. Дякую вам, друзі. Дякую за те, що ви постійно підтримуєте українську армію. Це зараз дуже важливо. І кожна ваша гривня реально наближає українську перемогу.
Man, he's great. He's great. I'm so happy to have him on our side too. He's amazing. He did some really, really good fundraisers. He's still doing really, really good fundraisers regularly. I follow his accounts. He posts every single time when he's doing these fundraisers, and every single time he does them, he collects the money so quickly. I'm just so happy he's existing. By the way, I'm gonna start a raid and I'm gonna fucking run, okay? I'm gonna start a raid and going to escape like immediately. Shit.
I just need clips for my video.
Because I gotta run. I'm hearing the window. Hitting? I'm hearing the window hitting and I don't know if we're having wind. I don't know if we're having windy weather again. So I'm kind of panicking over that, and all this time I was like, okay, soon the video is gonna end and I'm gonna be able to run to like close the windows because I'm hearing the storm. So running, enjoy Dobson.